Yo, what's up? Trihex here. Wanted to let y'all know that March of Yoshi, my return to Yoshi Island speedrunning, the event itself is going down March 10 through April 10th, and that not only does it include Yoshi Island speedrunning, but it also includes it's leading up to the release of Yoshi's Crafted World for Switch. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. It also includes I got a Switch console giveaway. I have we'll have daily gifting subs with the speedrun bet bot, so you can bet for my final time when I beat a speedrun for Yoshi's Island, and the closest 3 guesses will all get gift subs. So it's going to be, and we got a lot more community stuff going on too with posters. So look forward to all of that coming out in mid-March generally. Also, that what you're watching right now inside the Speedrunner, episode 1 went well, so it's going to be a series now. So enjoy episode 1 here with the world record Yoshi Island 100% Speedrunner Brooklyn. And that episode 2 will be happening, the episodes will happen mid-month, so it'll be the second Wednesday of every month will be inside the Speedrunner, so look forward to that. But episode 2 is going down Wednesday, March 13th, and which means it's happening after the start of March of Yoshi. So who better to have on than another dope-ass Yoshi speedrunner? And this one is spicy, y'all. I got Dan Salvato on of Doki Doki Literature Club Acclaim, but perhaps more relevant to right now, not only has he made DDLC, he's a sick game developer, he's a sick game speedrunner, because this man is world record class Yoshi story speedrunning, and I'm excited to get inside his head to let you guys know about what drives him so passionately with Yoshi's story and going on from there. So I'll see you for that. Thank you all again for watching. Enjoy episode 1 of Inside the Speedrunner. Impress you the speedrunner who have seen everything, and you're saturated to all kinds of minute details of execution that are completely oblivious to the casual viewer, comparatively to what the chat finds interesting. If you ever get the privilege of doing a GDQ run, you'll learn really quick here. I've gotten claps for things I found were comically easy, and then the things that I did that were super MLG hard as fuck, completely over chat's head. They didn't even know it was hard. So
I've noticed that too, watching some of the runs back. I'm like, that. I mean, since you're so I don't know, so deep in the game stuff, it's like, yeah, that was no big deal.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even register in your head that it's supposed to be like some super hype thing that you did.
Definitely. So we're gonna get more into that here, but if you wouldn't mind, I want to preface this with how this whole thing happened. So everyone who's here right now, this whole thing happened because I saw something particular in Brooklyn. Brooklyn was like an underdog. Had been grinding for a while. wasn't particularly. I don't think you were top ranked or anything immediately. I recall Trix being a prodigy and just being good 2 months out of the gate. I don't recall you having those kind of results off top here. So my perception is that you just were persistent more so than a prodigy, and which is not a bad thing at all. Let me not undersell you on that whatsoever here. And I was like,
agree.
Okay, yeah. So then I was like, I want to talk to Brooklyn, because I feel like his mentality and perspective, because not only did you persist through, I don't think you were even hundo at first. You were 80%, and you got into hundo, and then you were doing hundo for a while, and then then you get the top 10, and then top 5, and then you're up there with Trix and Renee on the top 3, and then you went past 230, past 229, past 228. Now in 227, you are in uncharted territory, and you're still hungry for more. I'm just like, wow, you have mental fortitude, self-discipline, and a thirst for speed that I'm intrigued by. I feel like I should have. Your mentality is the best one to have in speedrunning. You don't even seem like you get tilted when runs fizzle. You have a very good expectation X attempt mindset. You understand that the harder you're grinding, the lesser yields you're going to get on runs that pass to the standard that you want when you're trying to push for a better time. You seem really keen on that. Something I feel like I'm really shitty at. So I felt there was value in just talking to you and being able to understand what's your perspective that I don't have here, or that I'm intrigued by. Clearly you have you got a lot going on here that I'm frankly jealous of. So I wanted to talk to you. So that was the idea at first, but then I'm like, I was gonna hit you up on the DMs, you know, low, because you know me and you got them intimate DMs. Hit you up in the low and ask you like, you know, how are you? What's your perspective? How are you doing it? How are you like? What's different for you than I feel like other runners don't have? I guess maybe in some cases, or bad runners like me who don't have it. But then I thought, well, this is a very constructive conversation to be had, and I've seen your tweets, and you talk a lot about perspective and philosophy when it comes to speedrunning. I've seen them, so I was like, well, maybe he would actually enjoy putting it on a platform. Maybe he'd want to like shout out to the echo chamber here for positive mental outlook. So I thought, yeah, maybe I'll just talk to him one-on-one on Twitch. Maybe that'll be, you know, it'll give you more exposure, you know, flex on your run being so damn good, and we can go from there. So then that blew up into this here, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, if I'm gonna do a thing with Brooklyn one-on-one, let's just make it into like let's give it a marketing hook. That way, if it works out well for any reason, I can call back to it being the thing I do from now on, or I do in the future, or whatever the fuck. So
yeah, sounds good to me.
That's where we are now. So thanks to Brooklyn's super sick mentality, y'all, this is where we are now with Inside the Speedrunner. You know, take it however you want. So first topic here, bro, is introductions, because I feel like I gave you the how it happened, but now please tell us about yourself, or however you want to phrase it. Who are you?
Well, I guess to get the obvious out of the way, I'm Brooklyn. I speedrun Yoshi's Island 100%. I guess to really like, I don't know, give some more context to it, like I got into speedrunning back in 2010. Found your YouTube videos on, or your IL videos on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. I was playing through the GBA version, just trying to get 100%. And then I got stuck on a level, so I was like, shit, what do I do? So first thing that popped in my head, I'll go to YouTube, try to look up like a playthrough. Exactly I missed, and seeing some of your ILs pretty much just like that introduced me to speedrunning. That blew the doors wide open. I was like, holy shit, this is like a thing that people do. It went from Yoshi ILs, individual levels for people who don't know, to like other games that I played as a kid. You know, games I have nostalgia for, games that I loved. I found pretty much speedruns for every game that I looked up. Like, that's what got me into speedrunning.
Okay, so you were playing the Game Boy Advance version, the 2003 Game Boy Advance port, and you were stuck on a level. You went to YouTube to do the dirty walkthrough video strat.
Yeah.
And you came across me, and then you found out what speedrunning was, and you saw how, I don't know, like, do you find that it was like was there a particular aspect of speedrunning, Yoshi, that caught your attention? Was it the optimization of routes compared to what maybe you did in your head, or was it like the visual fidelity to like do swag or whatever, or is there a particular thing, or can you recall that mindset whenever you saw a speed run for the first time?
That was pretty much just like the visual aspect of it, like seeing all the egg shots and like all the crazy swag and the movement that you can do in the game. Like that's pretty much what like got me hooked initially. How cool the game looked in speedrun form, because it's so different from when you're playing casually.
Yeah, you're not lying there, man. Yeah,
this level right here is a really good example of that. Like just the swag and your movement options and all that stuff. Like them to do pretty much like anything that you want at any time.
Yeah.
To make it simple, just like the swag and how cool the game looked.
No, most definitely. Auto scrolls with downtime with high movement options, definitely gonna mess around and do some things. Certainly. I went through a similar thing actually with Yoshi's Island. Yoshi was my first speed game, and I didn't know know the whole like idea of optimizing a route wasn't even like in my agenda. I was 15, cocky as fuck, Tired of Yu-Gi-Oh being bullshit, so I was like, all right, well, speedrunning's pretty cool, and this Yoshi game I'm playing right now is really, really fun to play. So I'm just gonna try to be as swag as I can. So like that was my whole fascination was I like swag and inhuman like playing had my attention more so than playing for optimal route. Coincidentally, playing for swag gave me optimal routes because the routes weren't very optimized for the time proportionally, and I just wanted to look cool. Over time later on, as I grew older and more mature, I cared about like, you know, objectively wanting to be faster at stuff, but I definitely didn't care about being fast. I cared about being technical and kind of impressing myself, I guess, because like there wasn't really a scene, which we'll get into that a little bit later on here. I have definitely want to go into some more of the lore to paint the picture of how things were before you and how things are not at your top dog, your number one in a number one worldwide. I'm sorry, let me get that right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you introduce yourself, Brooklyn, but I feel like you didn't give me a lot of context here, and feel free to stop me if I'm being a little too invasive here. But like, you know, how you started speedrunning Yoshi in 2010, and how old are you?
23 right now.
23.
I'll be
okay,
24 next month.
Okay, so yeah, so that means quick math here. So you were 14, is that correct? When you started playing speedrunning
in 2014. But I found speedrunning in 2010.
Oh, okay, you found. Oh, okay. Oh, I misunderstood then. So you started. So in 2010 you discovered it, but you didn't actually start doing it until 2014. Is that correct?
Until 2014, it was just like, this is cool, you know. I'll watch speedruns and tool-assisted speedruns of games that I liked as a kid, but gave it a shot until like summer 2013 and like early 2014.
Oh, okay.
And
well, shit. Now we gotta change topics. Then well, you tell me about. Okay, now we need to know. Then what moved you further beyond? What got you to say you know?
Somehow upon Lee's tutorial, the 80% tutorial for the game. Prior to that, I was playing Call of Duty, trying to like make sniping montages.
All right.
I know there's like a stigma with like
no,
Call of Duty,
dude.
like,
That's fucking haters, bro. I want to know off top here. Was it MW2 or post MW2 that you were on the?
It was Black Ops 2.
Okay.
How obnoxious MLG montages, like actual sniping, like trying to play skillfully, and you know, like similar to speedrunning. You know, you're trying to play well and you know, trying to play as best as you can every game.
Oh no, for sure, dude. Anyone who's hating is dumb. Like, the context here is like in 2009 when MW2 was popping off, man. Like it wasn't even like, even if you quote unquote hated Call of Duty or hated things that were popular, like, you know, half your Xbox Live, for instance, was all playing MW2 at any given time. So like the party was there. Like you're that's where even if you sucked at it or hated it, it was just fun because you had everyone to play with. That's totally to me that's like super. I don't know. I find it's kind of childish now to really just hate on things because they're popular for the time. Don't get me wrong, Activision and modern Call of Duty now is like definitely a very big debatable thing on quality, but objectively back then, dude, Duty was lit for sure.
Duty, yeah,
that Duty baby.
How that started.
Okay. All
like
right.
over time, I just sort of got like burnt out or just tired of it. Like I didn't have a good mindset to like really know. So naturally, you get frustrated, salty, you know, tilted, all that stuff. Matches, I would play Yoshi on my GBA. Well, I was playing the GBA version on my Nintendo DS.
Okay.
Matches, you know, trying to speedrun. I didn't learn anything at that time, but it's like, you know, something to keep my mind off of, like, you know, how bad I'm doing in Call of Duty at the moment, or
oh no, for sure.
How I got into like wanting to pick up the run. I guess enough time passed. I just got like really tired of it. I'm actually gonna try to learn Yoshi's Island like for real. So then I went and I found the Yoshi wiki, the old one on, I don't even remember what it's called. It's like yoshispeedruns.wikia.com.
Yeah, something like that.
Now.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it is at this point, but
I studied the wiki and I would do videos, and eventually I learned the entire run. Nintendo DS,
on the GBA version.
Okay.
Which it snowballed from there, more or less.
And then it blew up. Okay. So I understand that. I had a similar thing too. It was a game that kept on feeding. Because there's a couple of things that are very unique to Yoshi's Island. In that, one, it's very expressive. Like, it's one of those very few speed games where, like, if I'm watching you, if I'm like game feed only, right? If I'm watching you play it, if I'm watching me play it, and I'm watching like, I don't know, like a Japanese runner play it, like, I feel like you can tell who's obviously, like, there's obviously 3 different players playing the game based off of game feed alone, because of the movement options are so diverse, and how people approach their style is really up there. Obviously, the faster the record gets, the less freedom you have to just figure out what's objectively the best strat to go for. But, roughly in that, like, I would say like 230 to 235 range, you can see. I think I'd be able to tell between like double two stop, Miyu, tricks on game feed alone.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would agree with that.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely fun to watch other runners because there is that expression aspect of it. You can totally see when someone's playing like overly safe, or when someone like you just goes like super YOLO and just you swag out all over the place. Because of that, it's very distinct to another.
How would you describe yourself? How do you feel you are? Are you like full throttle, or are you like more calculated, particular?
It kind of depends on like the level in the situation. I'd say a mix of both, though. Like, over time, I've become to like, I've become smarter about it. Like, do swag or show off when I shouldn't be.
No.
Those are definitely the time and place for that.
No, definitely.
I'm all about just like being focused on the route and trying to just play as best as I can, and not doing anything excessive or overly risky.
No, I definitely feel that. There's a thing I have to go with here, which is that run attempts are not the time to try anything new. Like, I should be run attempts are rehearsal, and if I want to innovate, it should be in practice, so that the innovation is practiced, and then therefore I expect to nail it in the run. But man, do I deviate from that shit all the fucking time, dude. When I'm in tilt,
it's hard not to.
When I'm in tilt, oh yeah, this is where we're gonna talk about mentality, man. Because like when I'm in tilt, if I'm like let's say like I'm a minute in the red, right? I'm 1 minute in red coming out of like the middle of World 2. I'm just like, fuck, dude. All right. And my still best is garbage, and I can easily like I can gain like 3 minutes between now and World 6. I just gotta keep like a positive attitude and persist, and not just like want to tilt out and reset or salty reset. So that's a common speedrunner mistake there, to over reset. But like, oh god, dude, it's like this, man. Can I at least be like, damn, whoa, holy shit, okay, whoa. I'm sorry, I'm seeing new strats here. I didn't recognize right away. That was pretty hot. So yeah, I definitely want to talk to you more about that here. But okay, well, let's move on to the next thing here then. So let's take a second. Let's slow it down, because we got to talk about the I want to paint the picture, because all right, so now what I want to do is I want to like bring it back to all the speedrun lore of Yoshi's Island, like what I can recall quickly here from 2004 to now, to paint the picture for the audience here of what did speedrunning Yoshi's Island look like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, versus 5 years ago, versus like to this year now. And then I can bring it into like this is why I want you just to shine at that after that, so you can like tell me all about like how you like what's your montage, like how you like really pushed from like 240 to 235 to 230 to then cutting the 29 and 28 and 27. So first thing first here is there are distinctively 3 phases of Yoshi's Island speedrunning. So new topic now, and that would be the solo era of Trihex, 2004 to 2010. So if you guys didn't know, streaming wasn't even like really mainstream viable until 2011, whenever Speedruns Live added like a portal for racing, and the races is what kind of stimulated everyone to like want to stream to stream their speedruns. Believe it or not, before 2011, I would argue that I recall having such a crazy stance on streaming. I was like, who would want to watch my practice? I feel like the run is a thing everyone's working towards, and that no one wants to watch, you know, the practice. Like, who wants to watch an actor rehearse? You want to watch the actor perform, you know? That was, I kid you not, that was my mentality in like pre-2011, honestly. I thought, yeah, it's all about getting the run, and the run is what gets you the feedback that you're doing good and shit like that. So yeah, it was crazy back then. So notably here though, for Yoshi's Island, there was no community. And whenever I got to speedrunning in 2004, there was one guy, David Gibbons, aka Marshmallow, who did like a one pass attempt for individual level world records on Yoshi's Island. So he was the first guy I can recall who had like documented footage of speedrunning Yoshi Island. His runs were very, very basic, and they were all any percent. If I recall, I don't think he even did hundo. I think I did. I was the first guy to do hundo, but yeah, he did any percent runs. Yeah, because there was no bonus skips yet. Yeah, so he did any percent individual level runs. There was no RTA attempt for doing the game in one sitting. Because the standards weren't really there, and the game was kind of long for its time, so people weren't really doing that kind of stuff.
But hentai, that's my shit.
Trilurk.
Yo, Scroll, thank you for the 19 months. Well, to continue on here, notably, he did it in 2004, and then he never came back to it. Like, once I was beating his runs, he didn't really challenge them any further. I was intrigued by 100% because it involved more egg shots and wasn't just like running right. It was a little more diverse to me. So when I got after I did the single playthrough speedrun in 2005, I moved on to doing 100% individual level runs because there was no point in doing 100% runs in full because the game had bonus challenges, as you guys are all very, very familiar with here, and we had no way of skipping them. We thought they were random. No one did any frame testing or anything like that, or just didn't occur to try it out. So if the run trivially has an extra 10 to 35 minutes of bonus challenge, what kind of run is that, you know? So that was so it seemed like a giant meme to even go for it. So therefore, the way to get around that was doing this individual level runs where the bonus challenge was irrelevant. So that's what I did in 2005, 6, and 7. But the really important thing to take from this whole thing right here is the fact that there was no community. It was just me. Even in the Yoshi Island thread, there was only like one other person who wanted to do the Game Boy Advance secret levels, but it was hardly anyone else there to like get ideas off of or theory route or anything like that shit. It was all me. Like, it was literally me, young Trihex in high school. Summer break and Christmas break was when I would say fuck my friends or fuck whatever I had interested in, and it was just like it was me in the lab with my VCR and my 6-hour VHS tape and every idea I could think of. And it was a high, dude. I kept, the more I pushed the game, the more the game gave me, and I loved it. I fucking loved it, dude. It was crazy. So that Kosh, thank you for the 41 months. So that's what I did, dude, and I thrived off that, even though I had like no feedback and a very minimal audience reception. I didn't upload them on YouTube because I actually thought that I stupidly thought that Speed Demo's Archive was like the king of all video footage. So I kept my runs on SDA. I didn't even bother uploading on YouTube until 2009 or something like that, which is really, really dumb. I could have been a YouTube clout master if I just knew how the whole thing worked back then. Fun fact. But yeah, there was no community. There was just it was just me for a very long period of time until streaming became a thing in 2010, the very earliest days. It's also the same year I met Carl Sagan, or I spoke with Carl Sagan on the SDA forum. So was your first, wait, actually I got a question here. Was your first full game run world record at that point? Yes. Everything I did was world record, uncontested until 2011. Yes. My any percent run was world record. My first run was like a 2 hour and 24 minute on the Game Boy Advance version. It was terrible. It had like a very costly 5-minute death in it, but the game was really hard, and I had I had lower standards back then, and I only had like 3 weeks, I think, to like really record shit. For context here, I had the Game Boy Advance version. I could never acquire a Super Nintendo version because I lived out in rural Louisiana and I didn't have access to eBay at the time. So I had to borrow my cousin's Game Boy player for the GameCube and use the Game Boy version with his borrowed Game Boy player for the only, like, I think, again, 2 or 3 weeks I had it. And of which, by the way, the VCR is at the good VCR is at my grandma's house. So I had to borrow his Game Boy player, go to my grandma's house to use the good VCR. And then I had to I had to try run till I was out of time.
Anime,
So
I don't really fuck with that.
the shit was crazy, man. I was mega stressed on resources, dude.
Keep on grinding, brother.
Yeah, that sounds pretty rough. Yeah, you made the best of what you had to work with.
Yeah. The run was garbage, but for contextually, but yeah, I got a 224, and then I hated the run. As soon as I submitted, I was like, dude, I could have did so much better, dude. I immediately had like buyer's remorse over like selling for that as my first speed run or whatever, because everyone was like really hyped to see my shit because I had been hyping up for weeks on end on the forum how better I was getting. And but yeah, I pushed further, and then like 6 months later, I got a 158. I got a sub 2 hour, so I got way better like a year later with a Super Nintendo copy. Well, anyways, though, so that happened, and then that was pretty much it, dude. I pushed myself as far as I could go. I had minimal feedback. It was just me and my ideas. It was really just me and like other speedrunners telling me that my runs were really fun to watch. But I didn't have like a Yoshi community to thrive off of. But that changed when the next era happens. That changed when the 2010 to 2012 era came to be. And this is whenever streaming picked up and was way more popular. You were seeing races. You were seeing me on there, young Trihex in 2011 with his 25 to 40 viewers, which was pretty cool for its time. And a community was birthing. You had Carl Sagan, you had Lee, you had I'm trying to think who else. It was me, Carl, and Lee who were on a Skype call. I remember this like way back when we were talking about how much of a meme it was to do 100% because the bonus challenges were stupid. My chat was begging me to play, though. They were like, yo, do a run anyway, man. It's going to be really fun to watch. So I did it, and my first ever run was like 4.5 hours long. My first ever 100% run, where I had no clue what, like, the bonuses, I would just run through the goal ring, right? So I had, like, complete RNG bonus challenges. I had a 4.5 hour run, and at this time, there was a massive language barrier. We knew that there were Japanese runners, but we didn't know, like, no one could read Japanese. No one knew what their speedrun page said. All we knew was that they would only accept Japanese copies of the game on their leaderboard, and they had a rule that said, no warpabagu, which was no warp bug, which we now know as the infamous 1-1 warp. So they banned warpabagu, and they had Japanese only. So that was the incentive for us to actually go to the Japanese version, because we wanted to compete on their board and fuck their shit up. So playing on Japanese, even though it is faster, that wasn't the motivation to go Japanese. It was because I wanted to compete with Japanese runners at that point. So so that's how that happened. I don't remember the exact time frame, but this happened 2011, 2012, approximately around that time. And then the whole game changed once we had Carl and Lee and other people, early Yoshi runners. I think even Crispy was out at this time too. They started to lab up some tech and everything else, and then somebody found out, I think it was Z-Wing, if you remember him, old school speedrunner. Z-Wing found out that the bonus ring was not random, that it was the same position. It's all about when you walk on screen a certain distance away from the goal ring. So once we knew that the goal ring was consistent, it was just a matter of figuring out what action next to the goal ring would give you a non-bonus ending. That's what we were working on. So there was February/March 2012 when we were all trying out a bunch of stuff. We were trying to figure out what action would give us a consistent bonus skip. And it was the mad scramble to figure it out, dude. I remember having some crazy ideas about like how like if I like walk next to the goal ring and back tongue twice and I throw an egg, it's gonna do a certain thing. I had some really overcomplicated dumb ideas that were not consistent whatsoever. But thankfully, eventually, Z-Wing found out the Z-Wing skip, which we now know is the bonus skip now, which is just spit an enemy while holding forward when you're next to the goal ring, when Yoshi's nose touches the bottom left flower, and you get it. So once we had the bonus skip, the world record went from 3 hours and 12 minutes. I'm sorry, the world record went from like 3.5 hours long because it was still random. And then I got world record. I had it for 1 day. Funny fact, the last time I've had world record actually was March 2012. It's been a long ass time, dude. I've never been the top runner for many reasons. But I had world record for 1 day. And then Carl Sagan bopped me the next day from my 3:12 to a 3:07. And then from there it dropped to a 3:02. And then from there somebody got sub 3 hours. And then that's when the sub 3 hour was just going down and down and down. But once we had bonus skips, that's when 100% became a serious category, and people were really trying to push it a lot. And it was really cool back then. So that was the 2012 era, and then the final era, which is I think is where we are now here, is once the language barrier was crossed. Forgive me here, I don't remember who it was. This is where it gets a little fuzzy for me. I don't know if it was a J runner or if it was like a English runner who like knew Japanese. I forget who actually, or who or what. But eventually, someone was able to communicate with the Japanese runners, and so we would learn like what their preferences were, what they were motivated by, have them explain some of the things they were doing, some of their strats, and things like that. So we once the language barrier was crossed, just strategies were easily exchanged. We had our communication portal to just better understand like what they were doing and what they were wanting versus what we were trying to do, which was like fantastic. I believe even there were even some races. Like there were some Japanese players would actually want to race the NA or EU racers too, which was pretty cool. So the language barrier was crossed. All strats were, across all barriers. Everyone was playing on Japanese because it was like the fastest version. And the community, even though Yoshi Island's not the biggest speed game community, the community was thriving because there were just so many new strats coming out to the point where I don't remember the exact criteria, but there was not every level had a bonus skip, and pretty much. During this era, early on, we had bonus skips for every single level except 5-2, the infamous 5-2 one, because of the nature of like the fact that getting a bonus skip in 5-2 would take longer than just going for the risk anyway. So that's kind of like what built up the entirety of that speedrun lore. There was the massive problem solving of bonus skips ultimately. I tried to cover everything I could here. I don't know if I did or not, but that's kind of like where we are with that then. So now I pass back to you, Brooklyn. Now I want to know your montage, the come up, dude. How'd you go from any percent scrub to 100% god? Like how did this happen? What motivated you to just like do all this here?
Oh man. Well, shit, where do I even start with this? Pretty much I was just running any percent warps. Like I started with warps instead of warpless just because it was slightly shorter. I don't know, 5 minutes shorter compared to warpless. I continued to grind warps until I got to like a 140. At the time I was third place, and I was pretty content with that. 100% runs, watching like you and Two Stop and Renee running the game. Like, dude, I want to do that. But I got to, finish up my business with any percent, move on, and not feel like I, left things untouched or whatever with warps. I pretty much just Trix's world record at the time back in like 2015, 232 something. What he did, as best as I could. Just trying to learn the route. It probably took me like a month or two to learn 100% in full. I finally did my first run in like August 2015. Time was a 3:15. I don't know, I just went from there. I just wanted to get better at the game.
Okay.
I'll just improve my time and lower it.
So it sounds like you had a lot of focus playing the game. So here's my question, okay? So you mentioned you played Call of Duty in the past, prior to speedrunning. Like, speedrunning gave you that new satisfaction that Call of Duty was like waning on. What other games, when you were playing Yoshi, what other games were you playing?
Only Yoshi. I never bothered to play any other games.
Here we are. Okay. So how long were you / are you playing Yoshi? Only Yoshi. Are you still only playing Yoshi right now?
More or less exclusively Yoshi.
Dude, are you me? Are you aware? Okay, I didn't bring up here this big context, but 2005, the year, like, okay, because 04 was like a casual year for me. Like I messed around on my DS Fat playing the Game Boy Advance port, but I submitted my first run in 05. Like I posted on the forums in 04 mostly. 05 to 2015. I mostly played Yoshi. I played exclusively, mostly Yoshi for 10 years straight, which is kind of crazy to think about now in hindsight.
Pretty much me at the moment.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. I don't
know. I just don't feel any desire to play other games.
Yeah, you got that razor focus, dude. Like that sharp focus. Holy shit.
I don't know. It's just like a feeling that I have in the back of my mind. Like if I'm playing something casually, playing Yoshi and getting better at it. I mean, even now that I have the record, I still kind of feel that way.
It's productive. That's what fulfilled me a lot. It was like I felt speedrunning was a very productive thing. Actually, I guess we can derail a little bit here into like I guess perspective of speedrunning. So at first, before speedrunning, I was a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player, and I felt like I was not great at a lot of things, but I felt like I could be. I was so obsessed with being like a really good Yu-Gi-Oh player that I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best duelist there ever was, or whatever I was thinking back when I was 13. And so Yu-Gi-Oh gave me a lot of fulfillment on that ego front by being a top tier Yu-Gi-Oh player. But then when the game was heading in a really shitty direction, and I caught on to that shit really early that it was going bad, I thought, okay, well, I know about speedrunning, which I got lucky at. I'm really lucky I discovered that in like 2004 by a really, really random chance. But I was like, dude, well, fuck Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna hop on speedrunning and see what's good with that shit. And it just happened to be like, honestly, I didn't even really give it much thought. I didn't think, okay, let me go through my entire gaming library and find the game. Like I didn't calculate playing Yoshi. Yoshi just happened to be the game that I was playing when I found out about speedrunning.
That's my shit.
So I just naturally applied it to my playthrough of that. I was like, okay, well, I'm enjoying Yoshi right now. Let me just try to speed run or run through this game kind of fast. Let me actually like figure out here how mechanics work and stuff like that. And that's what happened, honestly. But speedrunning gave me a lot of ego fulfillment. I felt like I'm being productive, dude. One day you will Google my name and see all my fucking sick ass runs. When I am dead, you will see all my fucking sick ass lit content on speedrunning or whatever, and my legacy will be cemented in my blood or whatever the fuck, right?
Hell yeah.
So that gave me like a throbbing hard on, and I couldn't get enough of it, honestly. That kept me really motivated because like you, I thought that I can casually play a game. I could get good at Borderlands 1. I could get good at I do have a soft spot for Halo, obviously, but I could get good at other games. I can engage into them if I wanted to. But why do that when I can push my already unique excelled skill of Yoshi Island further and just keep pushing it further and further and further? So I felt like that kind of kept me in, and I had this kind of, I guess, poisonous perspective of the fact that like I would compare every other game, particularly platformers, to Yoshi Island, and I'd be like, yeah, this game is like Yoshi, but it has slower jump and laggier this and not as intuitive that. And so I would play whatever platformer it was, and I would come back to Yoshi Island. It spoiled me, honestly. I kind of couldn't get enough of it, to be honest.
So the same way, when I look at other platformers, I don't necessarily compare them to Yoshi's Island, but the main thing I'm looking for is like, really fun, crispy, fluid movement. And so it's like the character just has to be fun to move around in the level. just not gonna enjoy playing the game.
I'll go with two parts here. One is it has to be fun to move around. The movement has to be like, the movement has to be like mostly me making decisions and not me mostly wading through animation lag. Like, oh, I committed to doing a dash. Now, dash lag. Or I committed to doing an attack. Attack lag. Landing lag. I want it to be like 51% minimum of me doing shit and not 51% of me waiting on animation lag here and there. So, one, that. But two, I really don't want to feel like I'm like in claustrophobia where I can only beat levels the way the developer intended. There's only one way, and you gotta walk over to the switch, press the button physically when you're next to it, then turn around and walk back the other way. Like, I want options to be able to, like, can I like hit the enemy and knock the enemy into the switch and then turn around faster? Can I throw my X object into the switch and then turn that on instead? Is there only one switch? Is there another way to get around this door entirely? Things. Can I go over the door that requires a switch rather than get a switch at all? If level design's approached in a more open, non-linear way, that intrigues me to want to like optimize it for speedrunning or whatever, or exploration, then I'm much more intrigued by that game by default. So a lot of platformers could not keep my attention because they didn't have all these things that Yoshi Island offers. I
agree with that. Like, they should definitely give you a lot of options to work with. I'll give you multiple ways to approach any, situation. It's more boring than being forced to like do. There's only one way to hit the switch, and no way to get around the door or, anything like that. I won't say like it's bad game design, but I feel like it's kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't give the player as much freedom as I feel like they should have.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not bad game design. It's more that it's the more a developer may have a particular vision for how they wants the player to experience the game or the level, and the more that they're in that direction, the more required linearity the game must have. And the problem is that we're spoiled off of Yoshi. Yoshi just gave us like the absolute cream of the crop where you can think about it, right? We have
everything.
Yeah, you're a main character who's carrying around 6 eggs that you can shoot a screen and a half full any direction, and you're like your realm of interaction is not just the screen in front of you; it's 1.5 screenfuls any direction at any given time, right? Or approximately. So it's like I'm Mega Man, but I have like a hand that can extend, magically any direction wherever I want, just like you can just push that gives you like the technical skill ceiling that's like sky high, and it gives you like a boundary of ability that's like, I feel, way past other platformers, even though it's kind of dangerous to compare the other ones to compare Yoshi on other platformers, but like, fuck it, I'm doing it right now. So
yeah, no, I try to not to do that same thing. Like, I don't want to compare Yoshi's Island or other games to Yoshi's Island. It's not fair to the other game. But I also think, just in general, they should give you lots of ways to like, go about approaching any situation. Like, if you want to be slow and, clear out all the enemies, you can do that. Mm-hmm. But then they should also let you just run right through them or, jump over them or something.
Mm-hmm.
And does that really well. Any given place, you've got 3-4 different ways you can approach it.
Yeah. One day I want to make a sick video on the level design in Yoshi Islands. I not as like a game dev, because clearly I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but as like a speedrunner, I just want to like bring up how like my observations are that what makes this game so good. Because like there's this disconnect, right, between like, why do I enjoy Yoshi Island so much, but why do I hate Yoshi Island DS so much? Like, I don't just like dislike it, I hate it. I think it's such a problem game to me. I try to pinpoint what it is, because the mechanics are there. There's something off about it, and I think it goes down to really the level design, because in Yoshi Island, the vanilla one you're playing right here now, you're pretty much you're taught everything out of World 1. There is very little new game mechanic wise past World 1. It's really just level design and enemy variety that are carrying this diversity so strongly into worlds 2 through 6.
Anime, I don't really
So,
rock with
For
that.
sure.
But hentai,
which is like
that's my shit.
insane. We're talking about a game here that just is bleeding production value. There are very few enemies that you see repeated throughout the entire game, minus like Shy Guys. It's just, oh god. There are certain enemies that only occur once in the entire game. There are certain areas you don't even see on 100% at all. It's actually insane. So it's like really, 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 really awesome. So one day I want to do that, but I definitely think that's a testament to how, not to mention that Yoshi's also aged really well. There are a lot of games that are like, that may be in this realm of 20. Oh god, it sounds so old here now. 24 years old. Is that correct?
I think so.
August 95 is when it came out in North America. So, geez, yeah, 24 years old, and it looks amazing. Like, it's actually insane that the aesthetic, the game design, the mechanics, all that. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It
that's
definitely
just like,
still looks good today.
what is up? Sorry, I
think
derailed you.
why that is just. I was gonna say that
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
they went for more just like an actual art style rather than hyper realism like every other game goes for.
Mm-hmm.
Old as it is, I think that's why the game still looks good. It's so vibrant and colorful.
Yeah, it's so.
Wrong with like a distinct, good-looking art style.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well let's I cut you off a little bit here because you're talking about your climb. So apparently you were not a scrub. You were competitive on Warpless from the very jump. Continue on here.
Warps,
So what
but-
you were doing that and then what, you went to Hundo after that, or
That's exactly right. I got to third place in Warps, and then I was like, I'm pretty much done with Warps. Like, there's nothing really left to do. It's just grind for a better time. Like, there's no new strats really. Like, things that I can do. Little discovery left. So it's just, consistency. And I just didn't find that fun at the time. I didn't have that sort of mindset to enjoy that sort of grind. I was saying earlier that I would watch other 100% runners. I'm like, shit, I want to do that. So 100% started learning it, and I mean, went from there. I just got hooked on it. Like, 100% has such a high skill ceiling. Like, you can just get so good at the game if you want to. Just improve your record. You can always improve your PB.
no? You're not lying.
I mean,
there.
my PB is 5 minutes off of my summer best. Just to go. Of course, the better that you get PB, obviously. But I don't know. I've always just been hooked on like the improvement aspect, just like getting better and better and seeing the time get lower. Satisfied with the time that I get. Sub 240, 235, 230. It's like I always know that the run can be better. You look at the run and you see like I can improve here or there. Or you see like that big 20-second time loss.
Mm-hmm.
Looking out for that sort of thing. Like, I know that the run can still be better, so push the run further.
Okay.
And that's pretty much just how it went. Grinding 100%, basically exclusively. Like, I took small breaks here and there to, play other games. I've speedrun Mario Sunshine, the YSS, Yoshi Speedrun Sunday races.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just been like all Yoshi all the time. I just get way more satisfaction out of speedrunning Yoshi than I think I would if I were to play something casually. Until you try something else out.
Okay.
So it's just addiction to progression, if you want to put it like that. Like, obviously, addiction is kind of like a negative word to use, but I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying.
No, it's actually really good you bring this up right now because people. So when I started speedrunning, or I started speedrun streaming, people would always ask me, the people who were new to speedrunning in its entirety would be like, how do you not get bored? You're doing the same thing over and over again. And they have like a very surface level observation of what I'm doing. And I would tell them exactly what you're saying here, which is that like, no, you don't understand. Like, it's you get the addiction to improvement because you're seeing a tangible progression every single time. Especially because you have, like, in the beginning, when you're like, you just have, like, rampant discovery. Like, I recall in Hundo, dude, it was like, can you imagine if the route wasn't already established? Like, if you didn't know, like, if you just hopped into this game totally blind, you, like, challenge yourself to, like, route it yourself first before learning the established good strats. You're in discovery nirvana, like, nonstop for, like, 6 months straight. Like, you're like, right? If you don't watch the world record and you don't read any of the wiki shit, you just try to route it yourself in isolation to make it quote unquote the most fun possible. That way you're in constant discovery nirvana. You would be addicted. You would never stop.
Yeah.
You only rob yourself of that if you choose to go for community streamline, discovery, I guess.
Exactly. I'm pretty much the same way. Like, if I see, for example, like, if I was to start routing, like, one of the longer categories, like 100% or whatever, I would want to make my own route first, just because, like, be the established route. You could just do what everybody else is doing, but the discovery aspect and, like, routing and, theory crafting, like, that's where a lot of the fun comes from.
I 100% agree. And I've discussed this in great detail, where I've said that, like, I find that speedrunning is in largely 3 phases. Theory crafting and glitch hunting, phase 1. Phase 2, routing. And then phase 3, grinding for the execution, once you are done routing in phase 2. And oftentimes you'll do, like, phase 1, phase 2, you'll come back to phase 1 because you discover something new, which will change the entire route, and then you'll do 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, then 3, come back to 1 again, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, do 3 again. But yeah, I definitely find that, honestly, 1 and 2 are, to me, the most enjoyable parts. The finding the puzzle pieces and then assembling them together is very satisfying. Like, there's nothing better than when you actually, it's actually a quote that Worcester, Pokemon Speedrunner, said. There's nothing better than when you're so close, you're like, okay, I have this tech here. It's useless right now. I don't know what to do with it yet, but if I could find a use for it, it probably would save a lot of time, actually. And then you, weeks later, find the missing puzzle piece, and you're able to make that useless tech into a useful thing. And then now now the run's coming down to a full, super satisfying optimization that completely surpasses your expectations in the first place. Like,
Agree with that.
Because, there's an example here too. There's an example in Yoshi's Island. I forget what it is now, but, like, there was a tech that was considered a useless glitch, and then it became useful, like, 3 years later. But I don't remember what the fuck it is now, though. Sadly. But that happens all the time, though.
Oh yeah. No, in pretty much every game, it's like, you have this piece of, you got this glitch or whatever. It's not useful yet, but I don't know. Maybe someone will come along and figure out how to, to retool it. Like, one thing that comes to mind is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door with palette skip. Like, they had all these, different glitches. They had all the pieces, but they just palette skip work. Another glitch, and they used all of the combined knowledge to actually happen. Like, routing and glitch hunting, that's the most fun part for me. Grinding for world records and improving your PB is fun, but at this point in Yoshi's Island, there's very little left, like, routing, or very little left to discover.
Yeah.
Grind what I already know, because the route's already, like, super optimized. Fun in itself, but you really need to have, like, a good mindset when you approach that.
I agree.
I'm sure, like, if other speedrunners know, it's super easy to get, like, frustrated when your runs don't go well, or if you're just struggling to PB and you just can't put together the run for whatever reason. Definitely, like, the grind for PBs can definitely be really taxing.
Yes. Oh, very much so.
But maybe we should jump into, like, some of the mindset things.
Actually,
I don't really.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm definitely taking a while to get to that. I'm sorry about that. We're going to mile a minute here. Sure.
I'm really enjoying the lore aspect to it, like all the history and the context that people don't necessarily know. Like when you see the speed run, it's like, okay, you see the run. But without like the context and the story, you don't fully appreciate, the run or the game. At least that's how I view it.
No, I definitely really enjoyed setting the lore because I wanted to humanize you, because this is really easy to be like, okay, yeah, Brooklyn is world record because he's freaking whiz kid good at the game, but how did that happen though? Like no one's just born as the whiz kid. Clearly there was a path that led to from day one to exceptional like you are now. So I feel I think it's really cool to humanize the Brooklyn and set that path. But yeah, let's get to it though. Let's talk about it then. So what you can carry here. What do you want to talk about first? What's got you excited to talk about this point?
Well, you bring up like, you start off the whiz kid, right? So I think that's sort of a good starting point. Like, speed running or music, sports, like you're just good at it, but with anything that you do to get better at it, speed running, you got to put in the practice and the time and the effort to get good at it. There's no secret to it, at least I don't think. Doing practice and staying consistent. That's really just how I did it.
So you just did it by practicing and staying consistent. That's how you would summarize it as?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like if it's hard work or not. I mean, that's sort of subjective, but like just hard work and discipline. Just continuing to strats if there are any, and just further consistency with the strats that I already know. There's nothing like too spectacular about it. I mean, I think it's kind of simple. It's like persevering when things get super tough, and just of it, I guess.
Okay.
That's the whole like.
Did you find that you were practicing efficiently from the very jump, or you feel like you learned how to practice efficiently?
And I had to just learn over time. Like it was definitely something I was pretty bad about at the beginning. So I wasn't sure exactly how to practice, like time efficient, but also as the gains for my practice. Like even now, I'm not sure exactly like what's the best method. And it's just, people try out multiple methods and just figure out what works best for them.
Okay. Can you at least tell us about, do you feel like there's like a ratio that you would obey? Like you would do like 50% runs, 50% practice, or it's more like whenever runs are just like a stinking pile of shit is when you think, okay, I need to go practice now for a week or whatever? Was there any kind of like feedback reaction to it, or not really?
I don't do anything like, nothing super planned out. It's not like concrete with like numbers or anything. It's just when I notice that like I'm struggling with a certain level, or I'm consistently being behind and losing time level after level, I'm like, okay, obviously what I'm doing now isn't working. So, as much as I don't want to runs midstream and, do some practice, the way that I'm going to get better. So it's like just hop in the lab real quick and just grind out some practice, go back to runs when you feel pretty good about the stuff that you already practiced. So it's kind of just like, going back to areas as it comes up.
Okay. Okay. So
real quick here. There's people bringing up in chat, the Yoshi's Island practice hack.
Oh yeah, sure.
Talk about the practice hack. That's 10 times more efficient. Exit the level to, redo a section. You can just drop a save state and just thing to your heart's content. So when I first started, there was
the context of that, by the way, y'all, is that prior to the practice ROM hack, something as simple as just like practicing a section where you will very likely have like 4 eggs or any certain amount of eggs after a checkpoint was very cost consuming to even set up for. You'd have to like go farm lives and then like have the eggs and then kill yourself, and you had to often wait anywhere from like 5-10 seconds between each death to even go back and try again. if X practice point was next to a checkpoint. It was very time consuming, honestly, to get good practice in, like repetitive, like muscle memory building practice.
Sure.
So
Like 5-4 skip, bosses.
Yeah, bosses
Anything
especially.
that would-
Yeah.
Like when you're interacting with enemies, you want to try out different things, but every time you want to try it out, you have to reset the room or, exit and re-enter the level. Efficient, time-wise.
And then what Brooklyn's bringing up now is the practice ROM hack essentially gives you like save states, like emulator save states, but on console, which is like amazing. So, but I'm sorry, you can go ahead and continue
There's
now.
you've got the egg editor, so you can enter, with however many eggs, red, yellow, green, whatever you want. Down. Disable auto scrollers, warp to the boss. So we're working on the practice hack. Him and Raiden, like, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have the practice hack. Maybe I wouldn't even have the record right now. It really is that helpful.
Oh no, certainly, definitely, I can agree with that. Yeah, could you imagine being an artist not having the appropriate? I'm sorry. Imagine being an artist and you don't have a pencil. You only have ink. You don't have the ability to practice. You have to do a hard commitment. You can only do like runs, or you're not getting good targeted practice on things you want to improve at. It's totally understandable. So yeah, like you cannot undersell the importance of the practice ROM hack and how it changes the game here. Sadly though, that came after me. I have not. My last PB in Yoshi Island 100% was in I think March 2015, and that practice hack wasn't around at that time. So I never had that luxury of having that sweet practice hack. I'd have to check it out one day though.
Starting out, I never had the practice hack either, but as soon as I knew that it works on console, I was like, hell yeah, let me jump on that. Before that, I would just get into open up emulator and use save states, but lag and it's not it works, but it's not like the most efficient way to practice.
I can agree with that. Okay, so you covered motivation. You were very self-disciplined. You covered determination because you just were super determined and on some speed gain nirvana for a long ass period of time. What's your perspective though? Like what how do you view speed running Yoshi? Is there ever is there an end point? Is there a point where you think you're good enough, or is there ever a point where you're like, I want to move on to another game, or like what's your end game here, if anything?
Okay. I don't really. Right now, I don't have an end game.
Man.
Whenever I get a PB, the goalpost moves back further. At like 230, I knew okay, I can get sub 230. Or getting sub 230, I can get 228. You just I just want to keep improving at the game. Reference to
damn, really?
Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
No fear? Wait, you're telling me you never had the fear where it was like, I don't know, man, 227? That's, I don't know, dude, that's crazy. This took me like 6 months to get. You never have that? Damn, you are
really.
Goku. God damn, dude.
But to finish that reference, then we'll get back to the 227 thing and the fear. He's just like, yeah, I just want to fight strong guys and get stronger. I feel like I'm pretty much the same way, just with speedrunning. It's just I just want to keep getting better at this game and, keep improving and lowering my time. I get a ton of satisfaction out of the PB. Months and months trying to PB. But then you finally nail the run. That's the best feeling ever, at least in gaming. Nothing comes close to comparing. I was stuck at 230-10 for over a year. I grind pretty much every day trying to beat my PB. So
Wow.
Be as sweet if you didn't have to struggle for it.
Yeah.
Just able to PB every run, obviously it's still gonna feel good to PB, but where it definitely makes the victory way better. But then you brought up the fear aspect. I don't know if I can get this or that time. I never really looked at it like that, because I always know like I'm capable of this time. You know, I see the sum of best. You know, you run the numbers. You're like, okay, I can cut off 12 seconds and get to 27 here. Just, I don't know. I just go for it. Failing, because when you fail, that's the easiest way to get better. You get instant feedback, and you know right away like what you can improve on.
Damn,
I mean,
you're just alpha.
no fear in that regard.
You're just alpha as fuck, dude. That is, dude. I'm thinking back to my mentality in like 2013 and how like fucking snowflake fragile I was about like my self-worth and how I had to get better for like superficial self-esteem reasons, and I couldn't even like give the game the attention it needed because I was so caught in my feels at the time, going through like identity crisis or whatever. Damn, dude, you are really good on the mental. That's really awesome. I aspire to be like you. I think I'm a lot better at it now than I was back then. But that what you're talking about right now is a really, you're right. Yeah, your some of best is at X point. You can definitely achieve it if you grind for it. I'm sorry. Continue though.
But bring up like your self-worth being reflected in your skill in the game. Like I think that's kind of a bad mindset to approach it. Like you shouldn't feel like, you know, this time so I'm this good, or like my runs are shit so, you know, I feel like shit, my self-esteem goes out the window, confidence just non-existent.
Yeah, no,
you can get like caught in like a negative feedback loop with that.
You can, and I did, but I'm happy that I got out of that when I was able to. But yeah, I recognized it, and I was like, okay, something's got to give here.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely something that doesn't come easy. Like, because how easy it is to get frustrated and salty with the run.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to just, you know, get super tilted and, you know, throw your controller, you know, say fuck this game or whatever. Excuse my language. But
I said
just
yeah, you're good.
Not to compare myself to others, like I'm not worried about Stop or Renee or Trix is doing, or, you know, what time they have, because everybody is different. We all improve at different rates. You could just be starting out, but they're already, you know, world record level. It's not fair to compare yourself to them.
Absolutely.
You know, just like having the discipline and, you know, trying to stay positive when your runs don't go well. It's really challenging, even still. You want to do well. I'm not saying like you expect to do well, but you know you're capable of playing well and, you know, just smashing your PB. But when it doesn't happen, it's real easy to just get upset about it. The thing that helps me is just like trying to reframe it and look at this, like take a step back for a second and, you know, look at the big picture. When you're, you know, trying to beat your PB, you're venturing into uncharted territory. Whether or not you have the record, you're always going to, you're trying to your best time ever, pretty much. So naturally, like it's not going to be easy. I don't know, like it's really easy to get upset over it for sure.
Oh no, definitely, yeah. I'd argue that even if you're on PB pace, you're not used to being on PB pace. You have to learn that coping skill, like, you know, we have the increased heart rate and the adrenaline pumping and all the other shit, and the, you know, chat's getting lit. You have to like focus on the run and deal with chat as a distraction for like excitement or whatever. You know, you got the whole community on your back rooting you on. You're just sitting there trying not to lose all your spaghetti and stuff. So yeah,
it definitely happens though. Like you're only human. You can't really control like how you feel. Like if
well I'm getting as more as you can get more familiar with it. You can. The more often you're in that state, the less you are surprised by the adrenaline state in its entirety. So I changed my perspective on the whole idea of being on PB pace, and I've told myself like in 2014 that like until I'm on PB pace 50 plus times, I can't be mad about dropping a run. Or you know,
exactly.
Just so I tell myself, you know, to get over it, because like it's part of the learning process of being consistent is having good composure under pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's something that ever goes away. Like, if you're on PB pace and, after 5-4 skip or World 6, like I think you're always going to be nervous, but the more you get in that situation, like you said, you'll become more familiar with it, able to keep it together better. Whereas like if you did, practice for 5 months straight, and then you do your first run and you're on PB pace, you're just going to spill all your spaghetti because you're not familiar or used to that, like dealing with the adrenaline. And if I fail or, if I miss this thing, I'm going to lose the run or, all that stuff. You can't be scared to fail. Because you're going to fail. Like 99% of your runs are going to fail.
Oh my God. Did you just fucking, you did like a fucking, a neutral triple ricochet to fucking bounce off the red flower to get 2 free reds that you did. And then you red egg oh my God, the optimization. Holy fuck.
Oh yeah. There's so much new stuff in the run.
Fuck, that was fucking dope, dude. I just want you to know. I want you to know that I noticed that, and I got a quarter chub off that just now. Holy fuck.
4-3 is definitely really sick. Hell jump at the start, the helicopter skip midway through is like the run as a whole has been improved pretty much everywhere. But even so, there's still a ton of strats that I don't go for just because making the run more consistent, or I'm sorry, less consistent, that are difficult. Because I mean, the run right now is already tough enough. What they're doing are, I don't think they're difficult, but they mess up like anywhere. Like lava skip and rockless, I don't do. The risk to reward's just too low.
Interesting. But 5-4 skip is worth it. To me, like 5-4 skip,
unfortunately,
it saves like 70 seconds. Is that correct?
70 seconds in any percent.
So like,
and it's like 64, I think.
In hundo?
For a minute in 100%.
Yeah, it's still pretty worth. Yeah, it's so okay. I think you've covered we covered these points here and there. I kind of wanted to poke you. So let me know if I'm running long here, because like my cap here is 50 2 hours total. We're at an hour and 10 so far. But I was gonna poke you on hardest trick, closest to rage quitting if ever. Your I guess your darkest hour, if you will. And then I have like I wanted you to like flex on like your top 5 favorite moments in the run, if any. If you want to,
I guess.
Do you want to explore? Do you want to go with those yet, or you still want to talk about philosophy a little bit more?
I feel like we pretty much covered all the philosophy stuff.
Okay.
Like a list of topics or things that you wanted to go over. But I don't know, I feel like I pretty much said everything that. Okay. Unless I missed some of the points. I think we're good.
Okay. Cool. And we can always come back to them. Chat. Don't worry. Chat will poke me about it if there's something they wanted to get to that we didn't get to yet. Okay. So next question here. Hardest trick, in your opinion, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Let's go that one. Hardest trick in your opinion in the game, and then hardest trick for you specifically in Yoshi's Island. If they're different.
Well, probably one and the same. The hardest trick being 5-4 skip.
Mm-hmm.
Who don't know, 5-4 skip. Well, you'll see it later in the run. Another 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes. But yeah, you basically skip a platform by fluttering over in a bottomless pit. So it takes around 1,000 attempts to ever get it once. But even then, you need to practice, another couple thousand attempts.
Yeah, I could just fast forward to if you want me to. Got plenty of run to watch anyway. It's like I'm short on run.
Why not? Yeah, 5-4 skip, definitely like the hardest trick in the game. Probably objectively the hardest trick. Just practice that you have to put into it. You can still fail it, even if you've done, like if you're 90% consistent with it, like you'll still fail it sometimes. Every time.
Yeah, definitely gotta emphasize here. You said 1,000 hours. I remember the time frame. You said it
not
like
hours.
1,000 times. Sorry, 1,000 times. I remember it being like a month. It may have been a little over 3 weeks, but I spent like a month on just 5-4 skip. Like, it took me so much to understand here. Like, you got to know those bats. You got to know your failure points. You got to gain composure like a motherfucker, dude. Oh, dude, there's... Y'all, the amount of ways this can fail is, like, asinine. There are... Oh, my God, dude. I can't even recall them all now, but, like, dude, there are so many things that can go wrong in this run. And there are so few recovery options ever at all.
You got to do the double dupes right here. I mean, it's pretty much just like you do it right the first time, or you're just out of luck. The second bat set, you know, you have some, I guess, some room to work. Like if you miss a bat or like you accidentally kill a bat, you can still recover with only 2. Don't really have much.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that.
You don't have many options at all.
That red shy guy, the final red shy guy spit to make him like
okay.
Like I saw you did like a little delay in your spit, and I'm like, okay, that looks really safe, because when I remember however I used to do it, I felt like that was like a 50-50. Like he would sometimes like he would barely fall on the platform. Other times it would just, you know, hug the edge and just fall right off. And I never understood how to make it like safer, but I saw you did like a particular way to cause it to be safer.
Pretty much, you want to approach low so he doesn't hit the top part of the ceiling. Sure you have a good amount of speed, so he'll you know, bounce off of the wall and then land back on the platform. So it's kind of like jump at it and then do like a really low flutter and then spit out the shy guy.
Okay.
Fast.
Yeah, because he landed like in the middle of the platform. He landed like mega safe for you.
It's not always like that, but it's on how fast you're going when you spit out the shy guy. If you fail that part, you're done.
Yeah, there's no way around that.
Out of luck.
Sadly. What was I gonna say here now?
Easily the hardest trick to run.
What do you think is okay? Like, do you have like an approximation of your success ratio with the 5-4 skip?
Never really thought about it too much. Maybe like, or just in general.
Like, okay, but yeah, how often do you find runs die at 5-4? Or do runs even die at 5-4? Like, if you don't get it, do you just keep going, or what is your perspective on dealing with that trick?
If I miss it first try, then I'm not going to be able to PB. I'm pretty sure. But usually, like, if I'm already past 5-4, like up to this point, I try to finish out runs for the sake of consistency.
Okay.
Some water. I'm dying.
No, sure. You need a second.
Like, the real problem is just getting up to 5-4. Don't make it that far. Whether I'm just too far behind the PB or just, you know, I just get up to 5-4, let alone, you know, do the skip. You know, I fail at first try, and then maybe I get it second try. Or maybe I get it like fifth try. I'll probably still try to continue the run and try to finish it out, just so my late game doesn't get rusty, and that way you nail 5-4 skip. Like,
anime, I don't really.
I'll have already played
Hentai,
through the rest of the game. It's not like I'll be super rusty or anything like that. Like, being prepared and like trying to be smart about it, really.
Okay. For sure. Okay, so you agree that it's the hardest trick, both to you and in your opinion in the game. And then,
yeah,
have you ever been close to rage quitting, or you're a AAA golden boy who's never been tilted before, Salty?
I wish it was like that. I wish I could say like I never get tilted or rage quit or salty. There's been a couple times. I mean, not like seriously considering quitting the game, or so just like, you know, I'm done for the day. Few days, but I know at some point I'm bound to come back. One time, I think my PB was like a 2:45 or something. PB paced by a couple minutes, and early before beating Bowser, so the level doesn't save, and you have to replay 6-8. So, like, I don't know. I was in a really bad headspace after that. I was like, fuck this game. Fuck speedrunning. I'm done. Everything, just throw it out the window. I'm done with this shit.
Okay. I don't know. I never give up, or I try my best to not give up and not quit. Quitting's the worst thing that you can do. I'd rather fail, it really 1,000 times, or 10,000 times, or even if you never succeed, goal to never give up, than it is to just quit. Like when people, before they even start speedrunning something, for example, they're like, "Oh, I can't do it. It looks too hard." They count themselves out before they even try it. And try it, like at least, put forth, even 50% effort, and then.
Well, sadly,
you can do it.
I feel like there's a lot of people who fall for that trap. They'll watch like a world record run of, I don't know, like Portal 2 or whatever, and they're just like, well, I can never do that, so therefore why bother trying? Like they only see the product of that's a result of like 10,000 hours, and they think that, well, I can't produce this result of 10,000 hours right now. Unbeknownst to them, it took them 10,000 hours to get to that point.
Yeah,
and they never even go for day one. I feel like that happens a lot in speedrunning.
Approach it.
So that's why I always try to like do my best to like humanize speedrunning. That way that doesn't happen as often. They're like, yeah, I sucked once upon a time. The difference is you never saw my 2004 casual offline garbage that it was, to where I got to where I am. And if you want to see how bad I am, you can just Google archive.org Trihex and find that 2005 run and look at how bad it was, how bad it is. But yeah, no, that's a really, really good point there, actually. For sure. Okay.
I forget what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
I feel like it was important.
I'm sorry, I cut you off a lot today. I apologize.
No, it's all good. Just I don't know. Like, obviously, don't count yourself out before you even give it a shot. But remember that, like I said way earlier, there's no secret to this. It's just hard work and practice. It starts off being god awful at the game, but the only way you get better is by putting in the time and effort. The main difference is, between the world record holder and some guy who just picked up the game, the time and effort that they put in. You see someone doing the run. You don't see all the thousands of hours and all the thousands of failures that they put in to actually get to that point. The end result. But you don't see like the behind the scenes unless they stream the practice. Like you're not seeing the full process, really.
Oh no, for sure. Oh,
I think it's important to remember that.
Do you do any offline practice, or you do everything online?
Everything online.
Oh, okay.
Online practice here and there, but I don't know. I just feel like if I'm gonna practice, I might as well just stream it. I want to watch it, but some people do.
Do you find that
better
when you're on practice?
Go ahead.
You do it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you find that you do the same amount of interaction when on practice than compared to when you're doing runs, or is it same mode, different mode?
I think I interact with chat a little bit more when I'm doing practice as opposed to runs, because obviously runs is when you're supposed to be super serious. I don't know. I try to focus more on practice, and because if you're just playing on autopilot when you're doing practice or whatever, like it's not going to be really efficient compared to like focused, deliberate practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a struggle even now, because when someone brings up like something juicy in chat, I'm like, shit, I want to talk about this, but it's hard to talk and play and focus on the game.
Wait, I'm sorry. One more time. My ears were full of dust. Can you say that? Can you just scream that one more time? You're saying that Yoshi is a very mental heavy game, and that it requires 100% of your brain power to even play this game at max level, and that you can't.
Exactly right,
dude.
You can't half-ass it.
You cannot, dude.
Half-ass it. It's gonna work if you do that. I mean, obviously you will improve, but just during practice, you're just playing on autopilot. You're not actually improving. You're just playing off of muscle memory. Important to focus when you're doing practice. Like, really, you shoot yourself in the foot if you don't focus in practice. When it is time to do runs again, it's like you didn't really accomplish much with the practice that you did.
time and energy doing, half-ass practice.
Expose them, drag them, call them out.
Well, I mean, if people want to half-ass practice, that's fine. I mean, that's their problem. If you want to improve and get better, like, you have to focus on the game. Some games, you don't have to focus as much, but like 100% even more so. It requires so much attention and so much of your focus. It's super attention demanding.
Yeah, this is
Hold a casual conversation. You end up going on autopilot instead of, giving your full attention to the game and trying to improve.
so. No, very valid point there. Damn, we're actually running out of time. I need to hurry to fucking get to the next point here. Any other correlating skill that aids you in speedrunning? Like, I was gonna ask you, like, do you play rhythm games? Do you find that and if so, do you find they help you when playing Yoshi Island for speedrunning? But I kind of want to make it like a bigger question about in general. Like, do you play a musical instrument? Do you play rhythm games? Do you find it's a skill that you're interested in that kind of feeds into your speedrunning addiction?
I do play the drums, but since picking up speedrunning, I haven't touched them. But I don't think playing an instrument or rhythm games really help too much. Like, if you're playing Step Mania on controller, for example, like, it's a good warm-up for your thumbs. You get your thumbs all loosened up so you can do whatever input you need to when you need to. Things that I find helpful are, like, more so just like the mental side of it, like watching motivational videos, watching things that like inspire me. Just trying to really just push myself. Like, I always want to get better and be better than I was the day before. I don't know. A lot of it's just the mental side.
I want to ask you, man. I want to this is really particular here now. I want to know, like, what's a motivational video to you? Is it like some dude like doing a sick deadlift at the gym? Is it like, I don't know, a weight loss montage? Like, I'm curious here if you can think of anything that's like not too, I guess, personal or whatever. Like, what do you look for like in a motivational video? Or what brings you into that mental, like, I'm in the zone now, like I'm hyped, I'm ready?
Well, it can be. Well, usually I just go to YouTube and I'll just type in like motivational video. It's usually just like the speeches that those kind of people give. It's like uplifting. It empowers you. It gives you like a positive attitude.
a coach telling his team, like,
like, you can do it. Get out there, like, give it your best. Like, don't give up. Don't give in. That sort of thing.
Okay, got you. The most uplifting ass slap this side of the fucking locker room, dude. Hell yeah.
People in chat saying like the Ryan Lockwood Streets 112 video, like,
oh, dude, that shit's fucking lit. No, that is still to this day. That's so my shit right there, dude. Like, man, that is a pop off. That feeling, because it's the one video I feel that conveys like the pop off you feel when you get a PB. When you get the world record, when you get the PB, dude, you feel that. Yeah. You feel that, dude. Like, that was not cocky at all. That was like that was peak, like, son, I've been in a situation.
Human emotion.
Oh yeah, dude. Like,
look how good I am at this game. Like, I'm better than you. It's like, no, fuck that. I grounded for 10,000 hours and I finally got to run. Fuck yeah. You get super pumped. And
people asking
if you had to struggle for it.
Let me supply and chat for you boys real quick here. The Streets 112, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be hard. Yeah, that has 1.3 million views, dude.
That's crazy.
Only 1.3.
Yeah, watch that shit.
You want to right now?
10.3. I was just saying to the people in chat, watch it, but
yeah,
I've honed the point that we're making.
Yeah, probably
if you wanted to.
No, we're low on time. We should probably like figure out what we're gonna do next here. Actually, I thought we were gonna have to like force ourselves to like fill an hour, and actually we're about to hit 2 hours. It was actually crazy. So okay, all right. So we covered that. My actual, I guess, last question is interactive point, bro. Top 5 moments that come to mind for you in the run, and why, if you have 5, or any notable moments in the run that to you.
So obviously 5-4 skip. We already talked about it. But prior to 5-4 skip, 5-3 I had like a 30-second time save. So I nailed that, and then I was on 226 pace going into 5-4. I was like, holy shit, this is insane. Probably one of the highlights of the run. Honestly, like the end of the run is one of my favorite moments, especially if you're on PB pace. It's like sprinting a marathon for 2.5 hours, like nonstop, 0 to 100. Like you don't have any breaks.
Did you talk during it? Were you ever? Did you like? Was there? Okay, when you were on blatantly world record pace by a fat margin, did you like? Did you mute your mic? Did you talk to chat? What was the view count like?
I talked a little bit. Like obviously, I was more focused on the run, but chat as best I could. But I wasn't gonna go out of my way to, try to be overly entertaining. Like, I'll make sure I keep up as, I'll do what I can, but to me, the run comes first. Like, I'm here to speed run and, hopefully improve the record. The stream isn't important, because it still is. On PB pace, it's like shit, Chat's not going anywhere. They're still going to be there once the run's over. Just on that. Like I was saying, the end of the run, once like you finally, last few inputs or whatever, you jump into the final goal ring. Like for me, that's one of the best parts of the run. Relief, like it's over. All right. And then even better if, you're on PB pace or, world record pace.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's interesting because I wanted to compare that to I'm thinking back to like Puncation, for example, who will just literally minimize chat. Like he will completely like chat gives him anxiety, and he'll just turn off chat entirely when he's on PB pace. So I was wondering how that compared to you, if anything.
I mean, you said the view count thing. I always have my view count hidden. It's not important.
I'm sorry.
It's nice.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that in like in a contextual way. I should have meant like like proportionally. Like if it doubles, does it freak you out, or are you indifferent towards it growing or whatever?
I mean, of course, like if it doubles right away, or I see it at like 90 or 100, I'm like, oh shit, this is serious. There's a bunch of people watching, but I try not to overthink that. I don't want to get excessively nervous on top of nerves, the late game nerves, whatever. But I don't minimize chat.
Dude, you are a god of pressure, dude.
I just
that's so good. That is so
chat,
good.
except for between levels. I know that they're there. I know the chat's moving quick. People are spamming their copy pasta or whatever. I don't know. I think if you do minimize chat, then you're acknowledging that it can be a distraction, or that you are nervous because there's a ton of people watching. So for me, it works better to just focus on the game even more, and also not to look too much at the splits or put too much emphasis on the splits if you're ahead or behind.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, I used to get super tilted about with having individual level splits for a long period of time. I just found it super stressful. But I've come a long way since then, though. So I think I could do way better on that if I return to it. Just because, like, what's funny is I'm sorry, I'm going on a minor anecdote here, but I never
go for it.
Like, I never did the whole leaderboard climb of a speed game until Mario Odyssey. Like Yoshi Island, it was so, like, I didn't care what place I was in because I felt so much pressure just to be tri-hex good at the game that it didn't even matter what place I was in. Like it was like every run was garbage to me because it never was to my standard of excellence. And then comparatively, I was, because I had all these pre-built expectations of tech skill and everything else, and being, I guess, the godfather of Yoshi Island or whatever. And then I come to Mario Odyssey where I'm not the godfather. I have no privilege. I'm like anybody else, and I'm like excited and happy that I'm at peak of it. I was in 30th place, and then if I'm inactive for 4 days, I slip out to fucking 55th place, just like that. Yeah. Everyone's so competitive in that game at launch.
I mean, I don't pay too much attention to the competitive side. Like, obviously, it's fun to climb the leaderboard, but I think it's actually bad if you put too much emphasis on it. Like, you shouldn't compare yourself to the other people. Like, obviously, use them as motivation. Like, you see someone who's, 2 or 3 minutes ahead of you. It's like, all right, I'm going to strive to get better than that guy. So it's not like, oh, he's better than me, or, worrying about too much on climbing the leaderboard.
You're
it
absolutely
happens,
right.
but like,
I let chat get to me a lot there. There was, man, that's all chat was doing whenever I was viral on Mario Maker or Mario Odyssey. Was just like,
it happens. I think part of that's just like it's exciting, like the competition side. What place are you? What's the world record at? All this stuff.
Yeah,
definitely helps to just focus on your own improvement rather than what place you are on the leaderboard.
Oh, hang on, wait, we're
covered. That's all I have to say on that.
Oh, he didn't get the red. Oh, okay, right. So you got a double ricochet, tongue it. All
the
right.
worst.
And you're gonna respawn the thing. Okay, you are. Okay, cool. All right, now you have no eggs. You have to like.
It's horrible.
And you have no enemy in your mouth. What are you gonna do? What do you do?
Oh, I should have backtracked and grabbed the Shag again.
I hope you get bonus.
Bonus skip. Nope.
Don't work. Oh my god, yeah, that's y'all. That is fucking 6-3 right there, man. Goddamn.
Fine, but sometimes it's just not enough. So that right there is the worst level in the run. After the level's done, but I lose 42 seconds. So 226 is pretty free just because of that.
Pretty free. That's crazy.
I never thought I would say that, but I mean, just looking at the numbers, that's how it is. Would have been. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know. No, please continue. See, I was gonna
say
you were continuing your 5 favorite moments or something like that at this point.
It was really only just 5-4 skip into the end of the run. 5 is actually one of my favorite levels in the game, just for the swag.
Which level?
Other than that, I don't really have
what 5? 6-5 you said? I'm sorry, you said that something 5 was your favorite level in the run. You're saying
1-5.
1-5. Oh, interesting. Okay.
An auto scroller. Surprise, surprise. Because of the swag and all the options and stuff we already talked about. Yeah. Aside from that, like, I don't think I really have in the run things.
Okay. So wait. Now you got me wondering here. Okay, because like that's interesting. You say an auto scroll is your favorite level.
I should say,
or one of your favorite levels. Now I got to ask you the $1 million question. What is your favorite level in this game? And do you feel that speedrunning has made your opinion incredibly biased, or is it too hard to even say at this point what it is?
I would say speedrunning definitely made my opinion super biased. Like casual games, speedrunning, anything, just auto scrollers with that bias. Like when I look at other games, I'm probably subconsciously comparing it to this one, and because of speedrunning, I'm looking at like, fun movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, I don't know. I'm not eager to play 1-5, but since I have to, I might as well have fun with it. Like the swag was more or less the reason why I got into the game. Watching the tool assisted speedruns and watching you play the game.
Dude.
How visually crazy it is and fun to watch. Like,
it's funny.
That's my shit.
That's actually really, really crazy to think, because you would think looking at the world record would get me hyped to like push further in Yoshi Island, but what got me hyped actually was watching the tasks. Like watching the tasks would get me like fucking like pumped. I'd be like, dude, if I can just like incorporate 1% of the shit that's in the tasks, I would fucking like come buckets, dude. That's what I was thinking. That's what got me hype on it. Like dumbing shit down to be more consistent kind of bored me, but trying to push for the absolute extreme 1% scenario intrigued me further. Not very efficient and definitely not like real time viable for going for like actual like competitive PBs, but like I can't help what I found exciting, and that is what definitely got me pumped. Was exploring
for me too, like just watching the tasks and seeing all the crazy stuff. trying to incorporate some strats that they do, but the one thing I really try to like emphasize is just doing what's consistent.
Dude,
Risk
you were going
reward, like
so
lava skip
fast
here.
in this log. I thought the log was slow. You were like,
it
you were in
is
fifth,
slow.
You're in like 5th gear. Like, did you plan
Still
to ride
3
that
seconds
wave?
slower. Can wave is faster than the first one, so you got to wait a little bit for it. But like lava skip, for example, it saves 3 seconds, but if you fail it, you lose 25 or 70. You know, somewhere in that range, depending on where you fall into the lava.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's really not worth it to me to go for.
No, I don't blame you, dude. What is it, 13 flutters, if I recall correctly?
16.
16? Ooh. Yeah.
Also, the reason why I do extras early. 3E, 2E, 1E.
Hey,
and then do
dude,
the rest later.
whoever ridiculed you for doing that early, tell them I would tell them they're dumb. Like 3E can fuck you over so hard, and there's no reason to put that shit stain of a level at the end of your run. It's there's no for what, for 2 seconds of menuing. Fuck that, dude. Like I 1000% live by do extras early. Fuck that shit.
Well, not only that, but I don't want to play 3E or 2E or 1E. I'm already nervous. Levels are dangerous as they are. You know, I'd rather lose the run at halfway rather than lose it right at the end. Twice as salty over that.
Oh no, that math does not lie. I agree with that, certainly.
Just want to be, you know, make the run consistent and, you know, as safe as it can be. For like a bunch of save any time, or, you know, you can't dumb it down too much or make it too safe.
Right.
You need to make it like excessively risky or inconsistent.
Indeed. Shit. Okay, where was I?
Shit about it, like, oh, you don't do lava skip or rockless or, you know, this or that. I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. I don't care. Like, I'm not too worried about it. At some point, maybe. They're not ruin the run or, you know, throw it away to something dumb.
You know, can I tell you a dirty mental habit I have in Yoshi Island that I need to work on really, and I still have it to this day, actually. I am so infatuated with the fact that I assume because an X trick is harder to do, it's automatically faster or worthwhile.
I have a bad habit of, like, trying to do the most complicated, like, difficult thing. Hacks when, you know, you're routing something. It's like, well, since this thing is harder, it's obviously it has to be faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Half a second.
And it's not even like you're lazy to time it. It's like you don't time it because you think that
Just
this
know.
is, yeah, you just know. You don't question it.
Familiar with the game. When you come up with a strat, you're like, yeah, this is probably the fastest way. You know, it just feels faster. I have a habit of trying to make things more complicated or like overcomplicating things. Has something to do with the game itself. What it is, but we seem to sort of like have that same sort of outlook on it.
Okay, so we've talked about philosophy, we've talked about determination, motivation, perspective. My conclusion here seems to be shockingly simple. You are just an MLG swag god who is addicted to the teat of Yoshi and can't get enough of him, which is sick. It reminds me of me in my heyday. I couldn't get enough of it. I still miss it to this day, but I admit that I'm still, I don't know, man. Like, blame the ROM hacks, blame Mario Maker. I don't know, blame something here. It's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to chase that gold and figure out what it is to tap into that again, where it feels like a thing, a rush, rather than just like a synthetic drive for ego clout, I guess, you know? But
Totally get that.
I'm really happy that you're still, you know, still
I'm hungry for more.
Yeah, really, really hungry for more. It's really, really
Yeah,
awesome.
I get that 226. I totally understand, like, wanting to play ROM hacks or, you know, Mario Maker, whatever. Pretty much at this level, it's just grind out the strats that you already know. Because of that, the game can get kind of stale. Same strats every time. Running, you know, the one run where everything just falls together. you know, I see other games or ROM hacks. I'm like, yeah, that looks fun. You know, I don't know. I want to get better at Yoshi's Island, and like it's not even about improving the record. Like I have it, and that's cool, but that's not what drives me. I want to get better at the game. Like, being stubborn and also just like having the discipline to keep pushing the game. Someone bringing up here that nobody does 100% either. Obviously, they're being sarcastic, but it's also kind of true.
Oh,
not much of.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that actually. What is the? Because I'm not even in the low. I admit I'm pretty bad right now on stimulating the scene for Yoshi Island here. But what is the current state of Yoshi Island speedrunning in 2019? In your opinion, is it dead? Or is it like alive? Or is it?
It's not dead, but it's not like super active. I mean, right now it's me. No one else is really running 100%. Got a couple people. Well, one guy for sure learning 100%. It's not like super active, but there's a few people playing Warpless. Surprisingly,
okay.
Nobody like games at the moment still playing the game. Like it's I don't know. It seems like everyone's sort of retired or they're just taking a break from the game.
Yeah, it's always a break. I don't think anyone ever plans to retire. I don't think it's like a professional boxer. It's just like, I don't know. Like I never planned to retire from Mario Odyssey. I just like started playing God of War, and then God of War led to E3, and then E3 led to GDQ, and then GDQ led to Anime Expo, and the Anime Expo led to other shit. And then before I knew it had been 3 months, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. Where am I gonna go with this next? It's always. I don't think anyone ever plans to quit a game. Like, I don't know. To me, it seems like
it just sort of happens. Or
yeah, it happens. It happens.
Like, they're tired of the game and they take a short break, but it turns into an extended break.
Yeah,
I did forget 100%, or no, he was doing runs of 100%, and Poir too. He's runner for those who don't know, and Zelna is like a Link to the Past god. Like it's not like the game's dead, but super active anymore. Like we still have people posting Warpless PBs here and there, but I don't know. It kind of makes me sad to see the lack of Yoshi runners.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also part of the reason why I want to keep streaming and pushing the game. Nobody else is really doing it. Grow and you know, just see more people pick up the game to run it. You know, just have more exposure on the game.
I actually would love to in the future perhaps have like a public call to arms strategy meeting on what can be done to stimulate Yoshi Island. So I have a couple ideas that I'd love to talk to you about. I think that you would. I'd love to hear your feedback on those ideas if you think they're even worth pursuing. It's some pretty lofty stuff though. It requires some. It's pretty ambitious. The ideas I had that would definitely help grow the scene for speedrunning Yoshi Island. But I feel like it's something that would require the full attention of like a dedicated episode of like this kind of podcast or whatever to talk to you about it. If you're ever interested in doing that in the future, I'd love to plan that out at some point, just to lay out to you, here's what I propose, here's the ideas I propose, what do you think of them, do you think they're worth pursuing, and then compare them to whatever you think, because clearly you want to grow the game. You know, you got Yoshi tattoos on your back. You clearly you want this thing to pop off. You know, you want these weekly hundo races, you want this, well, I don't know, hundo's kind of a shitty category to race, but you want these somethings to happen, you know, right?
Like that's the thing I've been thinking about recently. Like I'm not sure how to go about, you know, getting more people interested in the game. Suggest like bring back weekly races, or you know, maybe have like a tournament or something. I think most of that's just due to like the run length and the entry barrier, you know, to speedrunning the game. I'm trying to figure out like what exactly to do, but for now I figure the best I can do is just continue to stream and, you know, do runs of the game. It's not anything like crazy, but you know, it's something.
All right, okay. So we covered that. Here is my actual. We have two. All right, I have two things left for you. Okay, I have a hot question. It's gonna put you in the hot seat. All right, so you gotta be ready for it.
Okay.
And then I have like it's kind of an audience QA, but it's like it's some good questions I had screened earlier here. So first, let me give you the hot seat. All right, the hot seat, which is here. Drum roll, please. All right, so I see on your Twitter here, you had a tweet here. Awesome, boys. Production value, multiple overlays. When you're more hyped for Mario Maker 2 than you are Yoshi's Crafted World. All right, I'm gonna have to. So now I gotta ask you for your take here on the other Yoshis. Okay, so hot seat. Other Yoshi games. How do you feel about them? We got Island, Story, New, which is 3DS. Sorry, and then DS, and now Woolly and Crafted. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
Which have you played? Do you like any of them? And keep in mind, you not liking them does not mean that you think they're bad. It's just clearly, different chats. So don't roast them for it. So,
yeah, no, I'm super biased by this game, so I think it's smart to not compare this game or compare other Yoshi games to this one. But I've only seen a few speedruns of Yoshi's Story, but I know All Melons is super hype. Like, it's not just eat all the fruit. Like, there's actually a bunch of tech to it, so it's a really cool run to watch. Played any of the other Yoshi games as a kid, but I've only played this one, in recent time. Story's dope.
Okay, so
again, I haven't really played it or seen like speedruns or gameplay of it, but going off of like what I've heard from you and some other people, good, at least for speedrunning.
Mm-hmm.
Fun as a casual playthrough, but it's just not Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, it's not that Yosh, man. Okay, so you love Island. You All Melons and Story is dope, but it's not really your thing. And you said you haven't played like 3DS, DS, or Woolly. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. No 3DS, no Woolly or Crafted. Yoshi's Island DS isn't actually like it's not horrible. Look it up because I'm.
Wait, you said you don't think DS is not horrible?
I've heard anyway. I've heard.
Man, I will mail you if you say you're gonna. I will happily mail you my 3DS capture, and you can pop in. I'll also let you borrow my copy of DS just to see you play that thing, bro. I'd love to see. I'd love to see what you think.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Oh, what you mean? You said it wasn't that bad. What you talking about?
From what I hear, it's not that bad, but I don't want to play it. Yoshi's Island's the only game that I want to play. Other games exist?
Oh my god.
She's my main bitch.
Oh my god, dude. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, listen. All right. So, yeah, DS is going to make you like. There's just. I don't even want to get into it, dude. It's such a. I've done this rant a million times already, but you just got to play it. Like, anyone who defends it, I'm just like, play it then. Play it for an hour and let me know how you feel about it. The thing is, like, DS is an interesting failure in that it tries things, but clearly it just suffers from not having the TLC of the development that Yoshi Island Vanilla had. And comparatively, right. And then New Island for 3DS is just like it's not even an interesting failure, it's just a boring failure. It's just like it's new Super Mario Brothers with Yoshi added in. Like, I find the whole Yoshi becomes Jumbo mechanic to be completely not native to the game design philosophies behind Yoshi in the first place. Like,
makes sense.
Yeah,
I haven't actually 3DS or
because it makes everything trivial. Because whenever you make Yoshi like half the screen size, you just like run into everything and you get everything in your path. So you can't hide anything because Yoshi's big as fuck, and then you're not using the eggs anymore. The eggs are completely irrelevant for most of the levels that involve the jumbo thing. But it's more the game feels. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. The game feels bad. You're playing on 3DS. Your hand's gonna cramp after like an hour. You notably here, by the way, this one really triggers me. If I recall correctly, you cannot map the shoot button off of shoulder. You have to use the R shoulder for shooting, which throws me off a bunch because of how it is in the SNES controller. I could be wrong about that, but I remember the controller irking me a lot in 3DS. But anyways, so yeah, DS and 3DS, I'm like really not feeling. Wooly, and then finally the Wooly versus Crafted thing is another one. I'm actually gonna make a YouTube video on those really soon because there's a lot there I want to dive into because people are constantly up my ass about why don't you speedrun Wooly? Yeah. I'm like, okay, well have you played Wooly? No. Okay, well then you don't fucking know what I know then, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna compile it all into a video essay for everyone involved.
That ought to be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I definitely want to see that.
But one thing I do want to tell you though is Crafted. It's growing on me, man. There's something there that Wooly did not have, and to put it in short, it's because in Wooly the eggs are nerfed. You would think, okay, the one thing that I find is like inexcusable in Wooly that makes me just not want to run that game under any condition is that you cannot shoot flowers. Eggs do not shoot flowers. What? You have to physically touch the flower. Do you know how much that changes the entire game?
Man.
That makes
it really slow. Just
Yoshi already moves slow, and you're nerfing eggs, dude. You actually gave eggs a nerf, really? And mind you, making eggs already slow.
Horrible.
Yeah, there's no way around the lag.
That's no good.
Yeah. So that small thing there, it's such a small thing, casual play wise, but it's so big for speedrunning, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you couldn't, shoot flowers with eggs.
Oh, dude, there's way more to
complain about. Run faster or just something. Like I've heard that it's not that bad, from a couple people. More or less the same with Yoshi's Island DS, but just like with the other ones, I haven't really checked out any gameplay But I'll take your word for it. I mean, I don't have much desire to really play it, but it's interesting to me.
Dude, make a donation goal to get a Switch so you can hop on the demo and find out. I just want to see you play the demo and see what you think of the demo. Because the demo is free, so I'd love to see what you think about it. I want to be there for your stream and do the reaction to it, just to see you play what Nintendo deems a modern Yoshi game, and just see all that fucking lag when you make an egg, and how you can't move while aiming at all. Even in the air. Oh yeah, even in the air you have to the movement is so clunky. And here's the thing, okay, right? So the TLDR here is that in Crafted, what was I gonna say here? It's growing on me. Day one, hour one, I hated it. I'm like, the movement's clunky, the aiming is slow, your options are so low. This game is so simple with its level design, at least in level 1. I'm just like, ugh. I don't know if I can deal with this, y'all. I'm not really vibing with it. But then I speed ran it just to get some easy YouTube clout, just to flex on the new Yoshi game. I'm the fastest at 100% or whatever, and it grew on me. There is some tech. The thing here is the movement is very clunky, but there's a lot of tech involved to get around that clunkiness. It's not the ideal speed game for me because to me, there's two kind of categories for speed gaming, and it's the game's impressive to spectators because it's just blatantly it's a game that blatantly has high fidelity and it's easy to understand, Mario 64 or Yoshi Island. And then there are other games that have natively clunky movement, and you're maneuvering around and minimizing that clunkiness through execution, like Jet Set Radio. The game has a fucking dick shit camera and awful controls, but you can make it look smooth by playing it really, really well, So you have to be a little more savvy with how bad the game is with camera and controls to understand how smooth you're playing it. And Crafted World is kind of halfway between. You can tell I'm going faster than a regular person, but I'm still making the game look more competent than it is with its clunky, slow ass, laggy fucking movement everywhere. So
that's one thing I noticed from watching your speed run of it compared to like some of the casual gameplay that like the Nintendo Treehouse showed off. Was like Yoshi runs slow. You got to stop to make, or you have to stop to aim eggs, which obviously I'm not a fan of. I don't know. To me, the game it doesn't excite me like to less. Like just watching casual gameplay of it, I'm like, holy shit, that looks cool. You know, the movement looks fun. Or, you know, subsequently speedrun it. At least initially, I was like, man, is this like a reskinned Woolly World? Like, they got some cool stuff going on. Like, the front and back sides, you know, being able to shoot into the background and the foreground. Cool stuff there, but...
Yeah, there's
and your actions that make or break it.
Man, I want to nerd out with you and just tell you about all the tech in the game, because there's a lot, but I don't want to like derail this too hard into that anyway. But yeah, there's Woolly just feels like neutered Yoshi Island. Crafted, in my opinion, is different enough that it's not an auto like, you know, cancel. It's not like I'm gonna automatically say fuck this game. Like it's to me there's I'm intrigued by a lot more than I was with Woolly, to be honest. Now, whether that's a combination of me being more mature now and like being a little less jaded on, you know, why isn't the next Yoshi game Yoshi Island 2 or whatever? But like I've kind of accepted that's kind of never probably going to happen now because the general direction Yoshi's heading with Nintendo games at this point. But maybe I've accepted that. Maybe I'm more mature now. But I'm just like I'm not as auto tilted as I was in the past with like just the new Yoshi being not what I wanted to be. You know, for me. But yeah, it's looking it's looking better than at least Woolly to me.
Here, like that really, it's reassuring that, you know, the game's just not like a pile of hot garbage. Like obviously, you know, it would be fun for casual play, but speedrun side of it. But even if I wasn't going to speedrun it, I just want it to be like fun movement. You know, it has to be fun to play.
Gotcha.
Like hearing that there's tech to get around like some of the slow stuff. It's like, okay, you know, maybe Crafted is good. Or, you know, it could be good. Depending on, like, what gets discovered and, you know, ways around. I don't know, like, there's ways to make the game better, pretty much.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more speedruns of it. Your level 1 speed run. It looks cool.
I won't let you down. Oh, we haven't talked about co-op yet either. That's a whole nother thing. That's going to be the real thing that makes the game a lot faster. Is co-op.
With that.
Because
so I'm familiar with like on Yoshi's. Like the second Yoshi has infinite eggs or something like that.
Correct.
Like way more, and you could potentially like. You could play on 2 controllers by yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
Like if you really wanted to.
Yeah. So my goal is to get like a custom 3D printed controller holder, because you need to hold both Joy-Cons. You can play with like single Joy-Cons for each Yoshi, and if you just made like a custom holder, you'd be able to like control them both pretty easily with the 2 joysticks and everything. And the difference is that like all the clunky movement kind of gets removed. Because when the Yoshis are riding each other, the one riding on top can shoot while moving. Well, 1 can shoot while moving, but 2 has infinite eggs. And then Yoshi 2 can move. So like the limitations are completely gone. You have infinite eggs and you can move while aiming. You just got to use both controllers in a unique way. And remember, at any given time, you can just jump off the bottom Yoshi and go do something and come back to the other one. And the co-op camera is really far. Player. I'm sorry, say it again. Sorry, I'm cutting you off again. I apologize.
Co-op definitely seems better than, you know, just playing single player because of all the added, like, I don't know, tech or just all the extra things that you can do compared to just one Yoshi.
Yeah. I would actually compare it to it feels like you're playing Sonic Advance 3, if you're familiar with that game, where you're controlling Sonic and Tails at the same time. It feels like you're kind of doing that whenever you're playing the co-op in that way.
That's pretty interesting.
So it has my it's pulling me in, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's got me really hyped. So that's why I wanted to talk with you today and get a little bit more about you know, what is your Michael Jordan secret sauce from Space Jam? But I see that it's just water.
It's funny you say that because I pretty much only drink water. important, but just
No, stay hydrated, man, for sure.
hard work, discipline,
Speed gains out here.
and just never giving up. Like, depending like on how bad you want to accomplish, this or that thing. At some point, like, you can't give up on it. Like, if you want it bad enough, like, you can't quit or give up. That's kind of how I view it. So like grinding and getting the world record, it's just like, I want to beat my PB. If it takes me a year straight of no PBs, grinding every day, then so be it.
No,
10,000 runs, okay. Let's go then.
Have you ever? Oh wait, hang on, wait. Now you got me one. All right, we have like 2 segments left here that I have planned at least. But now you got me wanting to know here. Do you know how many hours you played, Yoshi? Do you have like a ballpark at all of any kind?
So I started in March 2014. It's been 5 years, more or less exclusively. I think I'm around like 4,000 or 5,000 hours at least. What I did to get that number was take when I started streaming in March 2015, and then I forget what website you have to use, but you can see like hours streamed.
Oh, Twinge.
So I just
I was
use
gonna tell you, yeah. Twinge can provide you with that. It can tell you how long you've been streaming on a certain directory since your account was created.
So take a guess, around 5, probably pushing 6,000 hours at this point. That's one of those things, like, it's really hard to properly quantify.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
But
5,000 hours.
A long time.
My mega conservative estimate is 13.5 thousand.
Damn.
But that's that's me like absolutely lowballing it. It's probably higher than that, but I saw my Twinge and I saw what was like I saw what my 2015 year was, which was like half a year. So I used like that plus my 2014 year, which is a very active year, and just took that and took the 2014, just took that and like called it like 75%, and then took that and times 10, and I call that about if 75% of my 2014 year is like going to average out to what it was the last 10 years, then it should be approximately 13.5k.
And well, they say you don't truly master something until you put in 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. You know the phrase, yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't reach an elite level before that. Arbitrary, but all numbers are sort of arbitrary in that way. It sounds good though. Like, master class.
Yeah, man. It's all you gotta do is look back, man. You look back on that that road of progress that you paved the way, and you think back to 2014 to now, or I think back to 2004 to now, and it's like, holy shit, dude. It's great.
I guess one last thing to add on to that is just it's important to look back at how much progress you made and like how far you've come. Look at what your initial time was. Like my first time was a 3:15, and just kind of you've improved since initially starting. To do that every once in a while,
So no, it's great. So my oh fuck, what's I gonna say right now? I had 2 segments left, but I can only think of one now, which was peeping Brooklyn's tweets. All right, so I dug through a little bit. I found a couple of tweets here I thought were fun to read through. Let's see here. Valentine's Day, you said, my best friends are hard work and discipline. I'm assuming you also flexed your left and right arm whenever you said that. Hard work and discipline.
Flex.
If you can hang out with them long enough, you can achieve anything you desire. Look at this man. Absolutely.
That's right.
Out here.
Well, I don't want to be one of those people. I just tweet about everything that I'm doing. Like, oh, I'm eating pizza. I went to work. I don't really tweet much as it is, but when I do, I try to make it like insightful. Try to give you like some stream that day. I did some speed runs.
Oh yeah. Wait. Blah blah blah. Okay, but at 5 a.m. though. I'm kidding. Yep. Someone in chat box. I didn't even notice that.
No, my sleep schedule's super degenerate. I think that night in particular. May have been.
No, you don't have to defend it. I was only because someone in chat, bro. I didn't even notice it.
5 a.m. boys. That's when you make them real gains.
Real gains, bro.
When you're up till 4 a.m. grinding, you got to put in the work
all day. Let's see. The next one here I got.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that rings pretty true.
If I were to pick up another speed game, it would be Celeste. The movement, story, run length, variety in categories. Okay, Han. Okay. That's definitely it's definitely top notch. That community is deep. So
I mean, not only that, just like watching some of the speedrun tech and like the movement and just, I don't know. I mean, everything the tweet says, I agree with, 200%. Like, that game's the shit, and I haven't even played it yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Look. Real talk. You need to make your dono goal a switch, because man, Celeste is cheap, $20, and the Yoshi Craft World demo is free, and those are two things I'd love to see you hop into. I would love to see you do that. Obviously,
it would be fun, but
whenever you want to.
I mean, you could say I've sold my soul to Yoshi's Island. I don't really want to play other games. Like, I just want to play that one. I want to get better and just keep getting better. Further.
I'm not gonna lie, Celeste was intimidating for me. I was like, I forgot what was going on. I think I was still playing Mario Odyssey, so I didn't explicitly, I didn't quit Odyssey to get into Celeste. And after a month, I was like, man, everyone is so fucking good. Holy shit, dude. Let me just and I felt like you. I was like, okay, well, I can drop Odyssey now and get on Celeste and whatever, or I can try to push Odyssey further and keep doing my thing. So I just kind of chose that. So
right, that's fair.
Yeah, it's just it's only so much time in the day here.
Game makes you happy. Like, there's no right or wrong way to go about it.
Let's see here. Here's one.
If it's fun, you're doing the right thing.
February 11, you said, it makes me a little sad that Yoshi's Island isn't as popular as other speed games. I'm going to figure out how to grow the game/community. Literal flex emoji. All right. Yeah, dude.
Like I was saying, I don't know what to do. I think this discussion, podcast, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely a good start. Trying to figure out, what can we do to push the game to, the popularity that Mario Odyssey and Celeste has. In tournaments, that could be a good place to start. All the resources that you need. We got tutorials, we got the wiki. Tons of people in there. It's just,
there is a lot to talk about here, and that we will definitely have to get to on a future episode. Because I can think of a couple of things, but it's gonna be a big derail. But there's a couple of things that Yoshi Island definitely needs change to make them more accessible. I'll just throw out one for you here, just to give you an idea of what I'm going at. Run length, 80% and Hundo are both essentially 2-hour categories, unless you're really good at the game. 2 hours or longer. So just it's not a game you can just casually race in a it's no Mega Man X or X2 little 35-minute little shake dig. No, it's you race, you're committing a good chunk of your day. 10% of your day is going to be the race you're doing today. And then if you lose, it's you don't really get a retry. It's you can't just squeeze in 2 races, because it's 4 hours. Comparatively, Mega Man X, you can just you can hop in one, get bodied, hop in another one, do it. You can do 2-3 races before one person finishes 180% Yoshi race. So yeah, it's crazy intimidating, say the least here. So there's definitely some things that's got to be addressed on the accessibility and practicality front of Yoshi Island to make it more popular.
Definitely.
But I think I agree with you though. Definitely, I'm sad of where it. I've always been sad of where it is, and it's been tough to figure out how to make it grow. And then your last one I poked here was the two most important things to me in a platforming game is the movement and how well the levels flow. It's funny because we already kind of went over this whole thing earlier, but I thought I already had the tweet cherry picked here to poke you in case you didn't talk about it. But yeah, I think it's really cool how you're so open about talking about mentality and perspective and motivation on your Twitter. It's a 24/7 montage of feels good. So boys, make sure
super important too.
Make sure you follow Brooklyn on Twitter, man. Twitter is a very fun follow. You should definitely do that.
Definitely try to keep it insightful. We'll have a meme or two here and there, but I want to try to give you like some insight to, the mind of a speedrunner, or like, I don't know, things that don't really get talked about too much. Like the whole mindset thing that we've been talking about for the last couple hours.
Yeah.
Like just in general, I don't see that being talked about too much, but with other speedrun podcasts popping up, it's becoming more and more talked about, which is really cool.
Yeah, I definitely think that's an under discussed thing, because like your mental, like if I'm really big on confidence. I think if you're not confident, you're not gonna get it 100%. So period. And that goes for like fighting games, that goes for Smash Bros, that goes for speedrunning. If you're not confident, you need to get confident.
You need that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm not confident when I'm playing even like casual gaming, if I'm not confident when I'm playing Dark Souls, not going to be able to, I don't think I'm going to be able to make good decisions. If I'm not like confident when playing Tetris on Tetris Battle Royale, Tetris 99, then I'm going to probably play bad or whatever. So I'm really heavy on mental state for sure. Like
right.
A lot of people just focus on execution, but I'm definitely like execution. I think comes in time. I think that to me is the easy part. You can get execution good. It's mental that requires the real work to sustain and achieve, I think. So
to add to that, like I don't think that there's like any one specific way to like improve your mental game. You just have to go through, the trials and tribulations and just put in the effort and, I don't know, just improve it. Because that's one thing that can't really be taught. And say like you got to think this way, or you can't give up, or all this stuff, but I don't know. It's still a struggle. Like you'll never fully master your mind, whether that's, for speed running, music, or whatever the case is. Like it's always going to be a work in progress.
Absolutely. Well, I've tapped everything. This went a little over, but I'm definitely very happy with what we were able to cover today, man. I really appreciate it. Like I said before, my general summary of what you said here is that like refreshingly simple, dude. I thought you had like a secret sauce, or some kind of meditation shit or whatever, but no, it's so refreshingly simple. I'm just like, okay, well shit, I can do that. I can do that. Oh, yeah. I can get motivated and just disciplined and do that thing.
That's one thing I try to like put emphasis on too. Like there's no, like Bob Ross says, there's no secret to this. Like it's just practice. But then also to add to that, it's like it doesn't have to be like some super complex and like complicated issue. It's just having a good attitude and whatever works for you to stay motivated. Obviously just putting in the time and like we've already talked about, staying persistent at whatever the thing is you want to get good at. Easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Well, then in that case, sir, let me allow you to wrap it up. Any closing thoughts that you want to give? Particularly, is there any advice you want to give to any aspiring speedrunners who are any casuals in chat right now who have never speedrun and may have that minor intriguement to get the itch? Any words for them?
Okay. Well, first off, I would say speedrun that, or pick a game that you really love. Like any game that you would play casually, for hours on end, even after you beat the game, or a game that you have a ton of nostalgia for, or really fun to play, play that. But then also don't count yourself out before you even attempt your speedrun. In yourself before you do anything. Like if you don't have that belief, you won't be able to do it. I guess just never give up. To keep it simple, like if you want it bad enough, you're gonna have to work for it. For anything in life, really. If you want to get to world record level in any speed run, stay at it, and don't let yourself get consumed by the negativity. General too. Like your mindset is everything. We've already discussed. You can get the execution, like that part's easy. But if you really want to like get into a speed run, just pick a game and just like I don't know, just you don't know what's going to happen until you try it out. I think that's about it.
Yeah, y'all. So simple. The answer's been in front of you all this time.
It really is. There's no
I feel like
sauce.
I don't know if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z or not, but I feel like you're guru, and you just like, you're telling all these Gohans in chat that this power has been sleeping inside you all along, young one. Here, watch me grab your head, and you just power up for no reason.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up, because I mean, we like elite level at anything. You already have everything that you need to get to that level.
Me?
For a future world record holder, you already what you need. You just have to put in the time to actually do it.
You hear that, chat?
It's pretty simple. Not going to be easy. It's always a struggle. Like, if you didn't struggle, it wouldn't be worth it.
Nothing worth having ever came easy. Facts. You already know. Big facts. Okay. Well,
I mean,
damn, we'll shout yourself out, bro. Y'all can catch Brooklyn at twitch.tv/Brooklyn9d. Oh, wait. I remember what I was going to ask you like an hour and a half ago, dude.
okay.
What is your why the name Brooklyn? Is there like a reason for that? I was going to ask you about like your tag here.
That's simple too. That's just my real name. Creative enough to come up with like an alias or anything like that. Without going like super in depth, it's like you can't be anyone beside yourself. It's that simple. Well, to that, it's like it's egotistical, but you further cement your legacy. It's like, yeah, my real name's out there. I'm the world record holder or whatever.
Dude, it's so fucking alpha.
But I don't know. It's just that simple.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
No.
I just thought maybe I never knew. I'm always big on the lore of shit, so I just wanted to know why Brooklyn. No, that's cool.
And 95's I mean, there's a couple meanings there. Really, it was just 95. The D doesn't really represent anything. It's just I couldn't get just the numbers 95.
Mm-hmm.
I was born, but then you could also look at it like,
wait. So the 95 is not because you're a big Lightning McQueen fan? Boom! Got him. No one in chat, really? Crickets? Nothing? Fuck. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
I was gonna say the 95 could be like 9 to 5. Like I can only be me. 9 to 5. Like you're like a job or whatever.
Right. That's what I thought it was.
I'm
for
always
a long
grinding.
Time. That was
9 to 5.
My one guess was like it was like 9 to 5. I'm like, yeah, man, sure was fucking grind 9 to 5. Goddamn.
Yeah. Like intentional when I made the name, but something like you can add the meaning to it if you want to. Like maybe I'm a little like egotistical or whatever, but like I grind harder than anybody else.
Nah, baby, dude, you
bold claim.
You're
to make,
the only 227 out here right now. I think you've earned the ability to flex and then some.
But even then, it's like someone who's like super cocky or like arrogant. So I'm like, nah, man, I'm just a regular guy.
Nah, chat loves Chads. They love it when you dump other people. You call them out.
Then I'm 100% alpha gamer. Nah, fuck that. 120%. Is on my level,
dude. No, dude. Hey, you got to get the 120% world record where you do the SNES and then you like switch over to the Game Boy version on your GameCube and you fucking get the extras done there. Be like, yeah, what's up, bitches? Get this world record.
The real alpha move is after you beat Bowser, watching the credits and then still getting PB or world record.
Dude,
4 or 5 minutes, but fuck it. I mean, you're that good. You got time to waste.
Mm-hmm. No, you do it in a race. You do it in a race. You do the you do the 2-stop.
It's way for everyone to. You got to give your competitors a chance to catch up. Like it wouldn't be any fun if you just beat them outright.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Earn the right to flex.
Well, thank you so much again, bro.
I don't want to flex.
Really enjoyed it. everyone here right now. So this is the end point. Now, for everyone here right now, hold up. Don't hang up. You can hang up whenever you need to. Hold up, because now it's time for the mystery announcement going into the mystery after party. Now that we're done with the inside the speedrunner thing, so we'll take a brief, little 3-minute intermission to get everything set up to talk about the announcement, and then I'm also going to give away 3 gift subs to give you guys a reason to stick around. So if you like free shit, don't fucking leave, dumbasses. Be out here.
Got him.
And lastly, feel free here to give me a second here. Did you guys actually enjoy the format? Again, this was a lot of it was improv. Obviously it ran very long. I can make it more focused. I learned to I gotta be way more on the thing, way more on the cusp to make it a little more trimmed. But there are so many unsung speedrunners. There are runners that I'm boys with that y'all have never seen or heard before. There are so many communities that just have never gotten the limelight, I would say, or maybe they have at GDQ here and there, but there is some sick Ratchet and Clank speedrunners that I would love to talk to in a similar sense. There are some, Spyro intrigues me a lot here because Spyro has a huge dedicated fan base, and particularly a lot of gender diversity. A lot of females are in Spyro, so I'm kind of wondering where the appeal is in that one, especially. Obviously there's the Mega Mans. There's some RPG runners. There are so many the spectrum of speedrunners to learn more about their perspective. I'm sure some of y'all think, who would enjoy, for example, a Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy IX speedrunner. Those games are so long. What is their mental state? Where's the appeal? Are you not intrigued by that? I'm intrigued by that. I want to know. I don't even know what we're getting into at that point. So if you guys enjoyed this and you want to see more of it, I can look into it. I can't guarantee it being a weekly thing or even might be a once a month kind of thing. I think it would work best at that point as a once a month thing, but I can look into it if you guys enjoy it. So let me so claps in chat, tryhards in chat, vote Yaz in chat if you want to see more and you have a fuck ton of feedback for me to make it better and what you want out of it. I'd love to look into it. Because what's funny here is that again, I'm cutting this part already off here. This is just me talking to y'all now on the stream. I already am getting thrown suggestions over other guests to have on based off the format when I described it to people when I first announced it. So I guess if you want to call it a podcast, I guess it's a podcast. But it was really more just this is more about me and Brooklyn bonding over mental state more so than anything else. But it just kind of became this, I guess. So, yeah, no, Caleb would be a hot candidate for sure. If he wanted to, I don't know. I don't see why he couldn't stream himself honestly as well. So yeah, cool. Well, I will see. Cool. Well, anything else, Mr. Brooklyn, before I peace out?
Oh, I think that's about it. Thanks for having me, Trihex.
When you streaming,
Hope
bro?
everybody enjoyed the conversation. The plan is right after we're done here.
Oh shit! Well, boys,
actually,
y'all make sure to give that man
your announcement.
Oh shit! Okay.
After the announcement, because I got to know all the juicy details, like what's going on. But
don't you? All right. Well, hope I don't let you down on that one then.
Plan is to hop back in. I was doing a little bit of practice before this, but do some more practice and then jump into some runs.
All right.
So, I'm always on the grind. You can find me live pretty much every day. Well, every night.
On the grind every day, every night. All right. Well, all right. I'll see you in chat, bro.
Been fun. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Later, fam.